freaks, and welcome to season 3 of Frequels. I can't believe we're here. We're here.
I mean, everyone said that we were going to fail.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate.
And we're here.
That was like our parents and our friends.
Everyone we know. And
people we didn't even know.
Cared about us, told us we're going to fail.
And you know what? In a lot of ways, they were right.
And yeah, we are failing in other aspects of life. But as far as Frequels go,
we're still putting episodes out.
We're fucking rocking.
Yeah, we're crushing that.
Fucking crushing it.
Yeah. 2025 is our year.
Dude, this is the year
that this show goes from like awful to being like acceptable.
Yeah, like yeah. I want that MEH capitalized. But dude, yeah. I'm EJ Leeson, and with me my co-host, the coolest guy in the world, I would say.
It actually did come back. Coolest guy in the world.
Oh, it did.
Yeah,
okay, so it's officially
they checked it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's added like almost like a squire kind of to your Esquire kind of thing.
The standards for coolness have dropped a lot within the last couple of years. So like, I just got in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rory Colorasi, what's up, buddy?
I'm so happy to be here right now.
Dude, I'm so pumped.
Because if I'm not just talking about movies with you.
I know.
I don't know what I'm doing.
It's like our therapy.
It is.
It's crazy. And we have a very special guest, someone who we love and adore. One of the best actresses that we've probably ever met. She's super talented in every aspect. The cool, the awesome, the Elle Snow. Actor Elle Snow. Fight attendant. Wait, what was it? Fight combat.
Captain.
Oh, fight captain. So what's up, buddy?
Thank you for that intro. That was very sweet. But I'm only here because Leo had another engagement. So they called me in to pinch hit for this.
Yeah, we were like, no. As soon as I had the I threw this out there, I was like, Elle has to be. Any time we cover a vampire movie, like you have to be on.
Next time's Vampire Sucks.
Oh,
next time's gonna be Vampire Sucks.
I've never seen
it. Is that what it's called? Dracula Sucks.
Dracula Sucks was the adult film, and Vampire Suck was the was that really bad
Twilight
comedy parody that they did.
Okay.
Is it Twilight like that?
They do make fun of Twilight, but they make fun of a bunch of vampire movies in it.
If that joke was a football, I fumbled it.
No, I mean, you could have been talking about the porn.
I wasn't, though. I was trying to connect with her. Because my therapist said I need to start connecting with people, so I was like, she's aware of that film.
Maybe you're
Dracula Sucks, right? Vampire Sucks, and she's just like, I don't know what you're talking about.
You're making me uncomfortable. To people via porn. You know?
That's the only way. I'm like Travis and Taxi Driver.
Yeah, you're basically, you just had your Taxi Driver moment.
Yeah, I just like... That's a totally acceptable place to bring somebody on a first date is a porn theater. That's what I learned from Taxi Driver.
Hell yeah. But dude, let's talk about Elle for a couple of minutes. You have a show coming up.
Yes.
You haven't acted in like a little bit, right?
The last thing I did was the Dunmore Cemetery tour.
Right, and that was in October.
Right.
And then before that, you did the One Acts?
Yes.
Earlier in the year.
The cemetery tour, is it true? I don't know if this is true or not. That you guys actually dig up the bodies and use them as like props and a cast, like on a pulley system.
You have to come to see the show and find out.
And you guys act out Dracula Sucks with these corpses, right?
So I fumbled, and you picked up the ball, and you ran with it. And that was a touchdown.
Yeah, I just threw it off the ground.
Sports.
But no, so, yeah, I'm really, really excited, because I'm not even just saying this because we're friends. You are legit, like, one of my favorite actresses.
Thank
you. And to see you do Shakespeare is even cooler, because you're such a great... You have not a lot of people could do Shakespeare, and it's very apparent when you watch like Romeo plus Juliet. There's actors in there, great actors who just cannot do Shakespeare.
Right.
But I would say you and KK are like incredible Shakespearean actors.
Thank
of
you.
course, like the Strayers, I cannot leave them out, or Jeremy.
Yeah.
But you are an incredible Shakespearean actor.
Thank
I would
you.
say. Yeah.
I really appreciate that. but you are no slouch yourself. Never has there been a better Trinculo.
Stop it. Thank you. I appreciate. But yeah, and you get you're acting with Tommy Tomeo,
friend of the show,
who covered
frenemy of the show.
Yeah, frenemy. No, he covered Slumber Party Massacre 2, which was such a funny episode. I definitely recommend checking it out. We want to have him back at one point, but he's always acting. Like, he's always doing a show. But
because America demands him.
I asked him how he felt about this role, and he said it was the least typecasted he's ever been. So he feels like a little bit stretched and challenged, and so like I'm super excited to see him just go for it and just take it and make it something his own. And I think he's doing fantastic with it.
So I've noticed that you guys are happy for your friends.
Yes.
I don't relate with this.
I one day
I'd like to see like my friends fail.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it makes me feel like I'm doing better.
Oh, okay. So you
do you not feel that way?
No.
Shit.
I never. I'm on the bandwagon of.
Well, put it this way, Rory. What if your friend got a cat?
We just connected.
Yeah.
We finally got there.
There we go.
I tried the porn route first.
I get it now. You opened my eyes.
I get it. I've been living my life wrong.
Now,
cats are the way
to go.
To go with everything.
Yeah.
Now,
if your friend doesn't have a cat, then yeah, we want them to fail. Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't call them a friend.
Yeah.
First off.
So this is your second time doing the Scottish play.
Yes, I did it exactly 10 years ago.
That's
and
crazy.
Both Liba and I played witches in that one as well. We're a little typecast, but we're fine with that.
Yeah. So Liba is the only person from that that cast that is in the show now, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And as you're doing the show, is there anything different that you're really like, oh man, I'm excited for people to see this?
Yeah, the director has like a vision for like how everything plays out, and I don't want to spoil it, but I will plug at the end where you can come see it if you're excited to see what those things are.
Yeah,
cool.
Absolutely. I cannot wait to see it again. I'm really excited for Tommy because this is like one of the this is like a dream role, I feel like, for most actors, you know? Yeah. And for him to get that role, not only do I know he would crush it, but I'm really excited to see him in a lead like this, you know? And same to see you reprise the role, because I was in that show with you as a witch.
Yep.
And so now I get to see you perform it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's going to be really cool to see it from that side and watch you actually do your thing.
It's a bit different from the way we did it. The director told me my direction was, we want to unsettle the audience. So it's less of the kind of airy elemental performance that you and I had done, but it's much more steeped in like a sense of dread and unease. So that's the kind of vibe the witches are going for. So it's different, but I'm excited to see it come to fruition.
Does anyone throw a pie?
You know what?
I think that's comedy of errors. Yeah. No, but one thing I want to say too, that show is how we really became close friends too.
Well, that's how we started hanging out. I think we became close friends when we were doing Caesar.
Oh, definitely Caesar.
Because we had the Suicide Slumber Party.
Yeah, we were conspirators, and it was awesome.
Both of our characters end up committing suicide, so our dead bodies are laying there, and the director made us talk about our characters while she was blocking the rest of the scene around us. Yeah. So we just had a little Suicide Slumber Party where we talked about our feelings.
Yeah, and we talked about our characters and our drive.
Yeah.
But no, it's really cool because I'm always grateful to Ghostlight for giving me so many good friends from that show.
Oh, same.
And striking up my interest in acting too.
Yeah.
Because I went to that audition not just to support a friend, and they literally kind of not forced me, but we're read, please read, and then I was like, oh, I don't know, and then I did it, and after that, I stuck with acting and love it. So I'm grateful for that. But also, you and KK have become like two of my closest friends from that show. From us doing multiple, shows at
productions.
Yeah. And so I'll always be super grateful for that time doing like Shakespeare in the Park. And
I am super grateful for the Strayers because I do not mind working hard for a director I know is working just as hard for me. And they put in the work 150%. They appreciate the words on the page and like want to do them justice. And the things I learned while under their productions, I have brought to so many shows. So to Jonathan and Rachel Strayer, thank you. I know Millersville is so lucky to have you.
Oh my God.
We miss them so much.
We really do. They were just exceptional, for real. But I, again, can't wait to see it. We'll definitely plug the show towards the end. Let's talk about what are some new movies you guys seen. How about you, Elle? Start us off.
I have not seen a lot of new movies. The most recent one I saw was Your Monster.
Awesome. Yeah, that was great.
Did I talk about that last time I was here?
No, but Maggie did.
Maggie did.
Oh, yeah, I went to see it with her.
Yeah.
Fantastic movie. I loved it.
Yeah.
All I'll say is, like, if you're a fan of Lisa Frankenstein or Warm Bodies, I think you'll appreciate Your Monster.
Yeah.
And if you hate those movies, skip it.
Then fuck you.
I love that movie a lot. I thought that was like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I did too.
It's very
like
sweet.
you guys, I'm a big fan of physical media, and I've been trying to add to my collection, like, because I had a bunch of stuff on VHS and I tossed out my VHS tapes, so I am trying to recollect those on either Blu-ray or DVD. And so I got my hands on Abigail, which was a pretty recent release, and Melissa Barrera.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to mess up her name.
Yeah.
Sorry, Michelle.
She's listening.
Melissa Barrera.
I know. I'm just going to mess up her name on purpose now.
Michelle.
It's Michelle. And
We
then,
love you, Stanley Barrera.
Way to go, Steve.
So, Jim Bob Barrera. And
Jim Bob Barrera. That sounds like it should be like a horror host.
She should change her name to that.
Jim Bob Barrera. That's like a great name for like a marquee.
That is a great
Come
name.
check out the new works from Jim Bob Barrera.
Oh my God.
And then I also got The Hunger, starring David Bowie and Catherine Deneuve playing sexy vampires.
Oh.
And fantastic movie. I love it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that or heard of it. So.
Well, that doesn't say much about you.
With, for any music fans, it opens with Bauhaus performing Bela Lugosi's Dead.
Oh, fun.
Oh, hell yeah. That's awesome.
Wasn't aware he was dead.
Oh.
News to me.
He's very much alive.
He's very much alive. Well, sort of.
But, Rory, how about you?
The only movie I'm going to mention is it was a rewatch of a movie that I haven't seen since I was a teenager. And Becca wanted to watch Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Oh my God.
And I
So
saw
good.
it when I was a teenager, and probably a very stupid teenager, because I remember watching it and being like, I thought that was very good. And then I watched it the other day, and I'm like, this is one of the most like beautifully written things I've ever seen in my entire life. But that's Charlie Kaufman for you.
Yeah, Charlie. Oh my, that movie is just so visually cool, and then you have like the story itself is so deep, and it just shows sometimes you have to go through a relationship, whether it works or doesn't work, to have that experience.
Yeah, it's a celebration of like the whole experience, like the good and the bad, and it's like you probably don't want to get rid of any of it, even if it does hurt you. But the way that they convey that is like so like beautiful.
Yeah,
and Jim Carrey does awfully remind me of Casey Clocker.
Yeah, you know what? He does have like a little bit of like
Clockerisms.
Yeah, he really does.
But that's the only one I was going to bring up. But yeah, I had a real wonderful time revisiting that one. It made me feel all sorts of emotions.
Yeah,
I think it was like the first serious thing I'd seen Jim Carrey in.
Yeah,
and really made me appreciate him more.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of that movie, and there's so much about it that we could go into, but it really is a great movie. Did Becca like it?
Oh yeah, I think that was like kind of affected her the way it should.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like I was just kind of like looking over at her, and I could just see her kind of like going through all the different emotions of the movie, and I'm like, that's a great film right there. Like that's. I love even just like all like him sort of like running, and it's like going through like one room into like one memory into another memory into another memory, sort of like the way your brain runs sometimes. Yeah. And she was there the entire way through it, so it was a really fun rewatch. Well, one other thing I'll mention though, this isn't so much of like a movie that I watched, but I had a game night last night.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. With
we
had. Well, I went over my nephew Shane.
Yeah.
I went over his house. So Shane, his wife Nina, and Leo, friends of the show, we played Star Wars trivia.
Oh man, did you do terrible?
I crushed it.
I figured you would. Yeah.
But you know the thing I wanted to bring up was actually Leo, because this is weird. You could pick like an obscure line from those movies, and he'll finish it. But correctly, like not like in the ballpark,
right?
But
yeah,
with like the proper like tone and everything. Because I just said it to be goofy. I read like a line from off of one of the cards, and he finished it, and I'm like, was that like a one-off? I gotta try that again. So I started randomly pulling quotes, and he's got a crazy memory, that kid.
Yeah,
but it was so much fun.
His impressions too. I feel like he's really like he'll be really good at impressions.
He's a cool kid. Yeah. That's all I gotta say.
He sounds like when he was doing his Chucky impressions, I was like, wow, all right. He sounds just like him.
When he was doing the Chucky ones, that's kind of when I had to take over the audio. So I remember sort of panicking through that episode. But when I was listening to the episode back, I was like, oh shit,
it's really
it's
good.
like really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got to hang out with those cool cats last night.
That's
Shane,
very
Nina,
cool.
And Leo. Shout out.
Hell
cool little family there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about all the stuff I stole out of your house. I don't know how much you need a grandmother's silverware or plate collection.
Yeah.
Why I had to destroy things on the way out, that's a mystery. I don't even know it.
You just do it.
I just do it. I see things that look like they're important to people, and I destroy them. Like relationships too. I like to put doubt in people's heads.
Yeah.
You know?
It's fun.
It is fun to watch.
It's fun to fuck with people.
It is. It's really. It's great. And really what did you watch?
I've been watching.
Boring.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Nothing cool.
Just the neighbors through binocular.
Yeah, just my neighbors. I've just been watching.
Well, then we should.
Yeah, just the usual. I've just been like basically moving in stereo as I watch my neighbors. That's a reference to Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
No, I know you've been getting Robin to watch more horror films.
Yes, yeah.
So, what was the most recent of those that you've gotten her to enjoy?
Oh gosh.
Did she watch Gremlins with you when you guys did Gremlins?
Yeah, she was watching Gremlins with me, and then we've been, because we were watching a lot of Christmas movies leading up. So we watched like Last Christmas, which is one of my favorite Christmas movies now. Yeah. I saw it like 4 times in theaters because I loved it, and then I don't even know how many times I've watched it since, but it features a lot of like music by George Michael.
Okay.
And I just absolutely love this movie. It's so good.
So that's the last horror movie you watched?
Yeah, that's the last horror movie. It's scary. Whatever, man. It's scary.
George Michael scares, just like the Culkins.
Yeah, just like the Culkins.
Terrifies them.
And then, of course, I talked about it before, like a couple episodes, 3 episodes ago, maybe. But I love the movie Y2K. It was awesome.
You've been talking about that one a lot, yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that movie. And
Let's talk about it again.
Yeah.
You text me and you're like, tell John he needs to see Y2K.
Yeah, literally the first night I saw it, I texted you and I was like, tell John you and him have to go see Y2K. Okay. But seriously, when you get a chance, I think it's going to be leaving theaters. It might be out of theaters.
You blink and it's gone.
Yeah.
Can I tell you a funny story about my experience watching that?
Yeah.
I saw it Saturday, right?
Yeah.
So Dave Gonzalez, friend of the show, he's been talking up this movie that he got to see a couple months ago. It should be coming out, I think, next month. It's coming up soon. Called The Brutalist.
Oh yeah, I heard about it. Mm-hmm. I saw the trailer, and the trailer looks awesome.
Well, I've been like holding back on trailers lately because I don't trust them. They ruin everything, and I just don't think it's enjoyable. But he's like, you should watch The Brutalist. And I was like, I'll get around to it, So finally, when we were watching Y2K, I'm fairly certain that trailer played. I wouldn't have known it for sure, just because for whatever reason at the theater, the screen was black because something was up with the projector.
Oh,
so
no.
I told Dave, I'm like, hey, I finally heard the trailer for The Brutalist. It sounds awesome.
It sounds good.
It was cool. They got their shit together at the theater before the movie actually started, but all the trailers were just like, it's just like a blank screen. I did enjoy the commentary from the people behind me though, because every time a trailer would end, they're like, "That movie looks awesome." And I'm like, I get it. But yeah, Y2K.
Speaking of trailers, have you seen the trailer for 28 Years Later?
I did.
I'm very impressed with that trailer because it doesn't give away too much and it sets a tone really well.
It's exactly how you should make a trailer.
Yes.
Talking about how to win. Oh no, go. You finish your thought.
No, I was just gonna say like that trailer. And the Nos. Ooh.
Oh yeah,
I get where you're going. I gotcha.
Yeah, you got me.
I got there. Oh,
so
that's another really good trailer.
Yeah. So a very effective trailer that came out is the trailer for the 2024 Nosferatu film, starring Bill Skarsgård, Aaron Taylor Johnson,
Nicholas Hoult.
Nicholas Hoult, one of my favorites. And of course, Willem Dafoe,
Lily Rose Depp.
what's
So while we're recording,
the girl's name from Wolverine and Deadpool? Emily Corrin. I forgot. Emma Corrin.
I think it's Emily Cornbread.
Oh yeah, so she's in it.
She is.
But that trailer specifically gives nothing away.
It's artful, if anything.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, that was because I know this story very well. I've seen, just like you guys probably seen this a million times. But like, if I hadn't seen it, I'd be like, that looks really intriguing. Like, because it gives you like something to. It's like you feel like that mood. You feel like the dread. It just feels scary.
It really escalates like your feeling of terror as it goes. Like you feel something coming, and they do a good job with like overhead shots and stuff, almost like approaching something.
There's like a shadow of like a hand like spreading across the town.
Yeah,
that is like just. Why didn't someone think to do that? Yeah, you know what I mean?
Right. It really sets
I'm sure
a
they
tone
did.
of
I'm just
dread.
so stupid that I don't remember anything.
Yeah.
But
No,
I'm
it really
gonna tell
sets
you,
a tone of dread.
Wait till you see the actual movie, sir.
I cannot wait. Christmas Day it comes out?
Yeah, it comes out on Christmas Day, and I'm going to give you guys a spoiler. There are lots of cats in this movie. I'm talking like lots of cats.
Nice.
I
so
figured,
immediately I'm just like, movie, you have me.
You got me.
You brought me flowers, and you were already taking me to dinner.
You're like, I'm eating.
Get
right
this.
now.
Check this, guys. Lots of mice and rats.
Ooh,
Nice.
I believe it because
Nice.
the original has a lot.
Yeah. We'll
of
talk about
rats,
those
yeah.
guys and where they're at these
The
days.
minute you said I have a spoiler for you, I was like staring daggers at you because I plan to see
You're like,
this on Christmas Day. I'm like,
Shit, if I
I
got
know.
married.
I'm toying with you. Remember we were talking about how we like to fuck with people?
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to see you get upset, and it wasn't.
Professionally.
I will stab you though.
No, I won't. I wouldn't dream of ruining anything. I'm just gonna say, for me personally, I love Robert Eggers. So having seen it under the conditions, I think we talked about it in one episode, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Who cares? It's very much the kind of stuff I love.
I cannot wait
So.
to see it. And that takes us to the movie we're talking about today.
We're talking about a movie.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're going to
God.
talk about the original Nosferatu, a symphony of horror that came out in 1922.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why we
that's
got
why
her.
you're here.
Can I tell you my first complaint about this movie?
Yeah.
Let me tell you why the 1931 Dracula's better. There was not one single bee in a coffin in this whole goddamn movie.
What?
Yeah. Anyways.
Man.
Well, we're gonna circle back to that. I have a note.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
At a very appropriate moment, I will mention something that I think will be relevant to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
All right. Yeah. So the first time you guys saw this movie, do you remember?
Yes, it was on AMC.
Okay.
It was probably during the month of October because they would do like silent film Sundays. So late at night on Sundays, they would just run silent films, and in October, they would do horror films. So that's the first time I saw The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. That was the first time I saw this film. And I appreciated that version because, no, not AMC. Sorry, it was Turner Classic Movies.
I was going to say maybe TCM.
Yeah, TCM. And their version was... they toned over the black and white, so when it was daytime it was like a sepia tone, and when it was nighttime it was like this soft blue.
Yeah.
So like I really appreciated that because I feel like, oh, there's like a difference. The version that I watched before making my notes for this film was the colorized version that's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, okay. Is it good? I've never watched the colorized version.
It's you know, the colors are a little like muted, I will say. Like, not as bright as if it was Technicolor or anything like that. But I think one of the failings of it is they colored everything, so even when it's supposed to be nighttime, it looks like day.
Okay.
So things are too bright, and it loses some of its tone.
Yeah.
As opposed to watching it in black and white or in the you know, sepia to blue tone version.
You said there was a color version, and I literally had this image of me like taking a chair and just like throwing it through a window. Like what a wrong approach to something. Like this movie, like the way it looks is like half of why it rocks.
I agree.
Yeah.
Like I said, that toned one was my first. I do own the version that's in black and white, and I was too lazy to go downstairs and get it when I was watching TV. So I just like, oh, let's see if I have it on a streaming service. And I do not recommend the colorized version for somebody if this is your first time watching this film.
You didn't have to convince me.
How about you? When first time?
So, I do remember this very well. I remember I always wanted to watch this movie. It's kind of hard to come by for a little bit when we were kids.
It was, yeah.
And I remember I had seen a lot of images of it first, and like books and stuff.
I have my first time ever seeing it. I remember, like the first time I saw like an image from this movie. I actually remember specifically.
Yeah, me too.
But go ahead.
So, I had a film class when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Because that's how long I've been doing this nonsense. But my teacher, he was doing a thing because it was like a very condensed film / like media course.
Yeah.
And he was just picking some like rando, like silent movies, you know, obviously like we touched on like Citizen Kane and stuff like that. I think we watched The Shining, which is kind of rad.
Oh, yeah.
But I remember he handed out this pamphlet of things that we were going to watch, and I saw like Nosferatu was on there, and I got like really excited because again, it was weirdly hard to come by at that point just to own it, right? So I remember we watched it, and like if you could, this is like not a visual thing, so I kind of have to explain this. I'm like literally like at my desk, like leaning forward in my seat, just watching it, like so excited, fists balled up, you know, and then I turn around and everybody in my class is fast asleep.
Wow.
They were not impressed. They were rather bored because they saw the black and white and the silence, and it put them right to sleep.
It's not a film for everybody.
It's not.
John watched the first couple minutes of it with me, and then he's like, I can't take this pacing, and he left the room.
Fair enough. That's a great review. The second, actually, I had a very similar experience in college. The film class is like a film appreciation class. He decided to pop by. He's like, anyone ever seen this movie? I'm like, several thousand times, good sir, because at this point I watched it a lot. And same thing, leaning forward, got the fists all balled up. I'm super excited. Turn around, everyone is fast asleep. But I do remember that feeling of actually getting to see it for the first time. There's images that are kind of burned into my brain for the rest of my life, primarily when he's on Orlok's on the ship.
Yeah.
There's like this really cool like low angle of him from like underneath like the ship, you know, the little and he's just kind of slowly creeping across the ship, and I'm like, that's so cool because like they made that back in 1922 and it looks so much more interesting and it's just so cool looking, you know.
That part in the movie itself is just a creepy part. Yeah.
When did you see it for the first time?
So my first...
What were you on?
I was on drugs.
Man,
no, so the first time I saw images from this movie was in 1994, watching Interview with the Vampire, one of my favorite movies. So I remember. So at one point, Louis goes to the theater and he sees, Nosferatu, and
there's a little thing of Superman in there too.
Yeah. Yep. And so I remember, I was like, what is that movie? And I could never find it. I did not know until it was Turner Classic Movies. And
Here I thought it would have been SpongeBob.
Oh, no. But it was Turner Classic Movies, and it was fine. It was just on. And I think I missed maybe like the first 5 minutes of it. But the cool thing is Turner Classic Movies will do a thing where it airs it and then it'll air it again.
Yeah.
Like, there will be like something in between, and then it'll be on like at 11 at night or 12 at night. So I was like, oh my God. And I went to like the station to like see if it's going to play again. And it was. And I was like, all right, I just got to stay up to midnight now. And so I remember watching from maybe... Like, I missed, like, the first 5 to 10 minutes, right? But I watched it, and I was like, oh, shit, this is really cool. And I always loved silent films and stuff. And there are points in this where it's, like, very, like, old-timey villain, where he's, like, running across with the coffin and stuff. Love it.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
I got things to say.
Yeah, but I just remember watching this movie and be like, wow, this is, like, effectively creepy.
Yeah.
For a movie that came out in 1922. And so I remember I stayed up till midnight, and which was no problem for me at the time, because when I was a kid I would just stay up till like 3 o'clock anyways. So I stayed up till midnight, and then I watched it again, and I was just like, this movie rules.
School must have been awesome the next day.
I'd stay up late watching like Nick at Night, Three's Company reruns all the time.
Take a nap in study hall.
Yeah.
One thing, I made a little joke about SpongeBob, but you really gotta give SpongeBob some credit for
Nosferatu.
For like really like getting people curious about this character.
Yeah, putting it out there.
Yeah, it really did. Like whenever I bring this movie up to anybody, they're like, "Oh, like the SpongeBob joke." Like I told people that I saw like the Robert Eggers Nosferatu, they're like, "Oh, like on SpongeBob." I'm like, no, yeah, sure,
I'll take it.
So yeah, thanks SpongeBob for putting this into
leave a mark on popular culture, even if people haven't seen the film. At least they recognize certain iconic scenes from it. And
I think it helped it.
Are you familiar with a band called the Gothsicles?
No. They sound awesome though.
They do goth music about video games. So they have an album called NosFERRETu.
Oh, that's I
nice.
love that.
Nice.
There's a song on there called F the Sun. Very appropriate.
Yeah, Castlevania.
Nice.
Do they have any Castlevania references?
I'll have to double check. I know they have a song about Konami Code.
Oh yeah. Do you remember the one time we were playing a board game with Casey? It was like the vampire game.
Yeah.
And he because we're like tracking down the vampire, and he put on the Castlevania music, and we're like,
nice.
Oh yeah.
It was from Simon's Quest.
Yeah.
But there's this music that would play whenever it would transition into night. Because that would just happen during the game randomly. Like, you'd be walking, and it's just like, oh, the horrible night has settled upon the whatever. And this music, it's so kick-ass.
Yeah.
Actually, the first, 4 Castlevania games have some really incredible music.
Yeah, the music for Castlevania is incredible.
It's my favorite
really
game ever.
But that theme is probably my favorite. If you haven't seen the
animated series on Netflix, you should check it out. It's very good.
Belmont?
Well, no, the first season, the original Castlevania.
I watched.
okay.
I think I watched
haven't seen
it.
the sequel yet. I watched a couple episodes, and the story didn't grip me out. Maybe I have to give it a revisit.
They should have gotten the voice actor for Symphony of the Night. Did you ever see those things online?
Yeah.
It was not by my hand.
It was not by my
It was
hand.
these real weird line deliveries. What have you? What say you? I forget what he says. It's silly, but let's go on.
Do you have any notes about the genesis of this film, like how it came to be?
No, I don't. I
We
just
should
wrote
jump
down.
in,
Yeah.
and you should hit us
Yeah.
up.
Do you want to hit
with
us
some shit.
off with the genesis of this?
Sega Genesis of
this
this?
was directed by F.W. Murnau, and it was adapted by Heinrich Gehlin, and
Friend of the show.
they had they thought like, oh, we really like the story of Dracula, we're just gonna adapt it and we'll change the names so that'll get past the copyright.
Adapt it as in steal it.
Yeah. So just changing the names is not enough. And Florence Stoker, Bram Stoker's widow at the time, sued them. And so she got an injunction, and all copies of the film were ordered to be destroyed. They weren't. Some people had them. Private collectors. I believe the Film Society of the British Film Society may have had some copies. And so the film is not allowed to be shown. It reemerged because people had copies of it in the mid 60s, and they would show scenes of it, not the whole thing. It was not publicly screened in its entirety after it was restored until 1984.
Wow.
Good year. I know that there were a lot of different sources that they had, right? That they actually put an actual print together. I was reading about that today, about how the prints were ordered to be destroyed, and thank God people are just fuck the law sometimes.
Yeah, man.
Because what a shame.
Imagine if this had been lost.
I know,
Such a beautiful piece of art.
Like London After Midnight or something like that, where you're just you see
that
images.
One was lost in a fire.
Still, it's one of those things where you're looking at images of it, and it's such a fucking shame that you'll never get to see it, because Lon Chaney is so incredible looking.
Mm-hmm.
As always.
Yeah.
What a pioneer.
Yeah, right? He was the man of 999 faces, right?
Yeah.
roughly that.
Yeah, I think that's what.
Roughly.
Give or take.
He was like Clayface for Batman?
Oh, yeah. But yeah, that's I was reading about that today, about how all the prints were ordered to be destroyed, and then thankfully some people didn't destroy them, and I was reading something else too, that it was a lot of different prints and things that they had to kind of put together to actually make a full print.
Right.
Correct me, America, if I'm wrong.
I don't recall the name of the film company, but I believe this was the only film that they made.
Really?
Yes.
One and done.
Wow.
Drop the mic.
I think
got nothing
getting
to prove.
sued into oblivion might have helped that.
It's well, I'm in crippling debt. I'm going to just work on that ship that we shot on.
At least we still have the movie. They take a corner and they're just burning it in the public street. Well,
I'm going to go down here now and just work on a ship.
I'm in crippling debt, and they destroyed the thing that put me in debt, so I got literally nothing to show.
Well, I'm just going to go...
And think from mere obscurity. From near obscurity, we have so many attempts to reanimate this film, not just in these versions that are coming out where they're, hey, let's colorize it, but now there's a remake or a retelling. We'll see how the 2004 one, or the 2024 one is.
Yeah.
And also Shadow of the Vampire,
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
which is so faithful in the shot-for-shot recreations. There's so many times watching this where I'm appreciating that film more because of how closely it is to the shots in this original version.
And what's cool is Willem Dafoe is in both the 2024 Nosferatu and Shadow of the Vampire.
I like when John Malkovich is just
John
yelling.
Malkovich.
I think he's just yelling at Defoe for eating the crew.
John Malkovich.
Why him, you monster?
Why him, you monster?
Why not this script girl?
I'll eat her later.
I'll eat her later. It's so good, that movie.
Why
it's really
him?
another one. Yeah. Why him, you monster?
Also, Cary Elwes played Fritz,
Yeah.
the cinematographer on that.
Yes,
Yeah.
and he was in Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. I played his character once with Tom Tomeo. See how this fucking conversation in Dracula, yeah, stage production.
Wait, who was Tom Tomeo?
He was Dr. Seward.
Oh, okay.
That was Arthur Homewood.
That's awesome.
Hell
yeah, dude.
And then they told me when I got the part that I was going to have to learn how to waltz. And I'm like, have you seen me move? It's a miracle that I can get through a room without destroying something.
I can't walk, let alone waltz.
Waltz? Can you CGI me doing it on stage? And they're like, I don't think you understand the medium.
We just have the dancing baby technology right now. So you're basically...
You're you guys can't clean that up in post?
So Rory goes on stage and it's just the dancing baby for that part.
It was, the reviews
Nailed it.
The reviews were great.
Yeah.
Dancing baby slays.
That's a waltz if I ever saw one.
Oh shit. Anyway,
But yeah, let's get into the start of the film. So the film starts with a few title cards, but the one I absolutely want to mention is Nosferatu. Doesn't that sound like a real shitty person that preys on people and does weird stuff like drink blood? And that's not sanitary, right? But no, I do love that. Like, it's like Nosferatu. Isn't that creepy as shit? And you're like, yeah, it is.
which version did you watch?
I watched the abridged.
So-
Can I tell you my favorite thing right out of the gate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's this awesome line in the movie that goes,
Yeah, that was good.
Wasn't it good?
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
yeah.
I appreciated that so much. But the word Nosferatu, if you're wondering why they're using it here instead of just saying vampire, is there was actually a book called by Emily Garand called The Land Before the Forest from 1885. And her quote was, "More decidedly evil is the Nosferatu, or vampire, in which every Romanian peasant believes as he does in heaven or hell." And it's believed that Bram Stoker had referenced this when he wrote Dracula, because in chapter 18 of Dracula, Van Helsing says, "The Nosferatu do not die like the bee when he stings once. There's our bee."
Boom.
Boom.
Boom. He's back.
We got that bee business.
Life's a bitch.
Busy bee.
Hey, so with your thoughtful note that you had, I'm going to counter it.
Please.
I like Ellen's cat.
Oh, wait. Yeah, we didn't get there yet.
We didn't get to the cat yet?
No.
Well, I'm getting there before you can.
Okay.
If I could counter that with John's note, he commented, "Kitty in the second shot, Rory's definitely gonna like that."
I'm a one-trick pony. What can I say?
What can I do, baby? You calls them like I see them. But the story starts with Hutter and his wife. Hutter is getting dressed and he steps out.
Is that how you say his name? Is it Hutter? Is it Hutter?
Hooter.
Well, there's no, the dots.
Umlaut.
Yeah, if there was an umlaut, it'd be Hooter, wouldn't it?
Can we just call him Hooter?
Look, Hooter.
Hooter.
Just gonna call
You
him
know,
Hooter.
Hutter.
I think I'm gonna open a restaurant one day. But I think
people-
wanted to belong to my family, so I'm gonna call it Hooters. So
The business changed over the years. Anyway, yeah,
Okay,
cat.
I'm sorry, the first scene.
so he's getting dressed and he steps out to pick some flowers for his wife.
And he looks like a guy who lost his keys.
Yeah, he's just like,
He's moving around that flower bed.
Oh my God.
Looks like he's searching for his car keys.
Yeah. And this is when we meet Ellen Hutter, his wife, who's playing with the cat. And do you know any history about that cat at all?
That cat?
Yeah.
Well, I know he had a very big career in the silent era.
Yeah. I think he went by Furry. No, cut that out.
Oh,
No!
it's staying in.
Defier? So Hutter brings his wife flowers, and she asks him, "Why do you kill flowers?" They're, and I was like, because she's like, "They're so beautiful. Why would you kill the flowers?" I was like, "Oh, this bitch."
I know. How about a thank you?
Right.
I actually,
No, I
leading up
love
to
that.
that, I really like the interactions with them, because even though it's silent, it's playful, it's joyful, it's romantic.
Yeah.
They're happy to see each other, and he gives her a little gift. And, I think why did you kill them? I think it's just showing how she's a sensitive soul. She's very empathetic. But I want to jump back to the title cards at the beginning of that scene.
Yeah.
Because when they say Nosferatu, it says, "Beware, you never say it," which I think comes from.
I think it's you don't ever spray it.
Yes.
Don't say it. Don't spray it.
Exactly.
Nosferatu.
That's the tagline.
Yeah.
there's a saying that goes back to the 1600s, which is speak of the devil and he doth appear. So there's the idea that if you say the name of something, it will bring it to you.
Is that where that phrase comes from?
that what-
Speak of the devil?
Didn't Bane
Yeah.
say that? Speak of the devil.
Speak of the devil.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not specifically related to vampires, but it's just a common phrase that was like dating back to the 1600s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah,
Oh.
and we still say it today.
Yeah, we still say it. That's crazy.
Also, the town is Visborg, which I was wondering why they chose that specific location, because the book has so many very specific locations. There's London, there's Whitby, there's Dracula's Castle in the Borgo Pass.
Right.
So I did some research. I'm like, why would they pick Visborg? Well, Borg means fortress. So it is the fortress that surrounds the town of Visby, which sounds like Whitby.
Oh, okay.
See, I see.
All right.
I have a note.
Yeah.
So when Hutter, we'll call him,
Okay.
he comes in with the flowers. You know, he's supposed to be like charming or something, but he's
Right.
making all these wacky ass faces.
Yeah.
And I wrote, Hutter should teach a class on how to make faces that will make your wife leave you.
No.
It's a weird collection of expressions.
Well,
He's acting for the back rows, as we say.
Yeah. Well, at the time.
I know, that's what they did.
Yeah,
I get it.
yeah.
I get it. But you know who doesn't do that? Max Schreck.
Yeah. No, he doesn't do that.
He's playing for me, not the
Yeah.
back row. Go ahead.
well, in Shadow of the Vampire, the actor who plays Hutter is played by Eddie Izzard. And so
Yeah.
all I could think of every time Hutter's on screen is like, oh, Eddie's doing this. I kept calling him Eddie in my head.
Eddie Hutter. So Hutter leaves for work, and he works for a local real estate guy named Knock, who actually is like one really scary looking dude, and possibly even scarier than Nosferatu himself.
Yeah, John's comment was, seeing what this guy's boss looks like, I'm not surprised he wasn't scared of Nosferatu.
I
Oh,
put Hutter's boss looks like the kind of guy that would like eat a half-eaten cheeseburger out of a trash can.
Oh, right. Yeah. I would say, yeah.
But how about on the way to work? Like that guy stops him.
Oh, right. And he's like, yeah, I know.
And he says like something so creepy, like
He's like, oh, yeah, you don't have to rush to your destiny, right?
Yeah,
or something
or-
like
Yeah, it's a weird exchange.
Yeah.
and he's like you don't have to rush to death or something. It's like, that's freaking ominous.
Yeah.
Good day to you, sir.
Oh, the weather's crazy, right?
Try that one next time.
Like, imagine
How
you're
are
driving,
you? It also works.
You're driving to work and the parking lot attendant is just like, we're all gonna die. You know?
Yeah. Hey, try not to get decapitated.
Another day closer to the grave, huh? Have a good night.
We'll all rot someday. Oh my god.
Oh.
What kind of neighborhood is this?
I was expecting you to ask about the rain. So Hunter leaves for work. He gets there, and Knock actually got a letter from Count Orlok, who wants to buy a house in this town.
Did you see the papers he was looking at?
Yeah.
Like, there's
It
like
looks like
weird
letters-
symbols and drawings all over
Yeah,
them.
it looks like the Zodiac Killer wrote these notes.
Well, I paused it because there was like a square with like symbols written in it, and for a second I'm like, oh, are those numbers that might be like a Saturn square, which is used in Hermetic magic. But no, it's just filled with these like gobbledygook symbols, and it's like alchemical symbols, but also just weird drawings. So
Yeah,
it's
there's,
like
like,
this
question
made up.
marks.
So it's like supposed to be like a made up language. So
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that they thought like, oh, maybe it's a cult, and not like, this is what we think Romanian writing looks like.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to just be like he's an evil guy.
Yeah.
Looks like evil writing. I just don't understand why.
Yeah,
there was
there's like
a-
little devils and upside down crosses drawn on the page.
And there
Yeah.
was and they drew like a picture of a penis on it too, which I thut was real weird.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, and I thought it was weird that Knock was like really like kind of like touching the paper inappropriately.
Yeah, it was a weird moment.
Yeah, it was weird. But Knock puts Hutter on this this thing, and so he wants to sell the abandoned house right by Hutter's.
Right next to him.
Right next to him. He's like, hey, you know that shit place that you live by?
It's right across the street from your place.
It looks like he just figures it out on the spot. He's like, I don't know, sell him that fucking house.
Yeah. And it looks like Freddy Krueger's like kill zone, like when he was human. Like that abandoned building, like factory. That's what it looks like. It's
and
like
Hutter's trying to be a good salesman. He's like, I don't know, that place needs a lot of work. And he's like, yeah, he'll love it.
It's his thing.
this fucking guy is gonna love it.
Wait a minute. What if Nosferatu and Freddy Krueger had to move in together?
Oh, man.
Like an Odd Couple kind of thing?
It's like, keep your dirt shit out of my room.
Blah!
Blah. So Hunter returns home, and he's excited to tell his wife that he's going to a country of thieves and ghosts. He's like, honey, great news. I'm going to this country full of thieves and ghosts. And she's like, well, that doesn't seem like it's a good idea, right? And but Hunter is like, oh, no, this is going to be awesome. I'm really excited for my prospects here. And so Hunter leaves his wife with his buddy, Harding, and the sister.
Mm-hmm.
But just the acting on that scene when he tells her and then he goes to pack.
Yeah.
I have in my notes, Hunter runs off while Ellen has a panic attack.
She does. She looks like she just remembered that she left her kid in the tub.
Yeah. And he's like,
it's like a really weird expression she makes.
And
just like
the title card says his anxious wife. I'm
Yeah.
like, she has like an anxiety disorder that's untreated, and like you're just like, well, bye.
yeah. He's like, you deal with that shit. I'm out of here. And he like just takes off.
to be fair, he learned a lesson.
Yeah. Yes. So they share one last embrace before he embarks on this journey.
I said
And-
the heated passion of an efficient German kiss.
Ooh, yeah. It was hot. Hunter arrives to a village near Orlox. And
Yeah, but he also takes a horse there. Did you catch that horse?
oh, yeah, that was a good looking horse.
That was a damn good horse.
And at this tavern that he stops at, as soon as he walks in, he impatiently yells for his meal. He's like, feed me food. And like, he just like walked in. Like, he's already like ordering like.
It wasn't an inn; it was somebody's house.
Yeah, it was like, the fuck? How did you even know that was an inn? But anyways, he yells for food, and then he gets a warning that the werewolf, there's a werewolf out there roaming in the forest at night. So he gets a room at the tavern.
Wait.
Cute. It's a striped hyena.
Yeah.
We need to go back to that guy with the mustache.
Yeah.
Who's like, as soon as he says, I'm going to Orlock's castle, I have a mustache man is concerned. The mustache is huge.
Yeah.
And all I could think of was in Dracula Dead and Loving It, where he's like, no, you mustn't go. And the mustache is like wobbling. But the thing is, in Universal's Dracula, like, the guy's like, to the castle, and he's also got a huge mustache, and I'm wondering if that was, because there are so many shots that seem to be inspired by this.
Oh, definitely.
So I feel like the look of that mustachioed man is definitely one of them. And so, like, even though it's like, he has the one line about the werewolves, like, I'm like, we remember you, old mustachioed man.
There's no way we forget that fucking thing.
No.
Yeah.
And just for the record, striped hyena. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
He's pretty good.
By the way, do you think this is like?
I wasn't sure if that was a hyena or a Tasmanian tiger,
Well,
but
that's
it
a-
looked like a hyena.
I know a hyena when I see one.
Yeah, that werewolf looked like
Terrible
one of the
werewolf, though.
Tasmanian.
I know.
Hyena.
It's like they spray painted him.
Yeah,
Look at our
This is
wolf.
the armadillo thing all over again.
I know.
he looks like a Tasmanian marsupial werewolf from the Halloween 3,
Ooh.
doesn't he? Because he has like the same stripes.
Oh,
and
he
everything.
does.
Yeah, I don't know. I had to throw that out
But
there.
a note on that, I think because there's no werewolves referenced in Dracula, but the Vrykolakas are werewolves from the Slovenian Balkan region, and
Thought so.
in the Balkans, the warriors there would do a ritual where they donned wolf pelts, and the wolf is a symbol of strength. So, kind of like the berserkers, where you kind of embody the animal before you go into battle. So that's where the myth of werewolves came from in that region.
Oh, okay.
And so I just thought that was interesting that he's like, oh yeah, there's werewolves out there.
Yeah. I thought it was like a ploy so they get like him to get a room for the night. They're like, there's werewolves out there. Don't step out there. We have a room available though. If you want to
don't say.
Yeah. But anyways, in his room, Hutter makes some light reading, and by light I mean he reads 2 pages and then flings the book across the room, uninterested in the local lore of Nosferatu. He's just like, fuck this, right? And he just like tosses the book.
Well,
the next day,
because again, it's silent.
Right.
So I mean, first off, one line in that book that I wanted to point out was that they say the Nosferatu were from cursed earth from the fields of Black Death.
Yeah.
So, obviously they're tying in vampires with the bubonic plague.
Right.
So what's interesting is the word Nosferatu, one of the possible origins is Nosferatu, which means plague carrier.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I have Hutter's bed in the end looks like a very like he could sneeze on that bed and it would fall over.
Yeah.
It's a weird looking bed.
And it's really
super high
too.
up, and it looks like the leg is kind of ready to give out. Yeah. So I wouldn't sleep on that thing.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff
But I think he
notice
tossed
in
it
movies.
in like this is poppycock kind
Right.
of a thing. And then by the morning, he's laughing about it. Like, haha,
Yeah.
that stupid book.
The
Why
next
is
day-
anybody scared? But it's
Hutter-
always like, things seem scarier at night when they are more believable.
Yeah.
And then in the daytime, when you can see everything, you're like, oh, that couldn't possibly exist. I could see if there was something in the woods.
Yeah.
true.
The next day, Hutter wakes up.
And he wakes up in a big old way.
Oh, yeah, the big
old
arm stretches. His arms are like wall to wall. And then he watches some horses. And then he picks up the book again.
Hey, the horses?
Yeah.
I liked watching them just frolic.
Yeah.
Made me think of that movie Spirit.
I
No.
don't know if they were frolicking or if like
Were
there's
they
a scene
wild
of them
horses?
just running. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they were like spooked by something that might have been nearby.
I think they were having
okay.
the time of their lives.
Okay.
That's what it said in the script.
But
I read it.
As Elle said, like, he picks up the book again and just fucking throws it, and he's laughing at this point. And anyways, he takes a carriage to Orlax.
Well,
but
one last thing about the horses. I was on IMDb and I was reading some of the facts.
Yeah.
And I guess the horses did a tremendous amount of shit talking during the production.
oh, that's why they're only in this one scene.
Yeah. Because I guess they got kicked out of it because one of the horses was like F.W.
Belligerent.
Murnau, more like F.W. Murnay. And then they were like, get him out of here.
Fucking burn, man.
I know.
That's what they get for horsing around.
Yeah. Just horsing around.
I hate myself. Let's move on.
But the driver, so he catches a carriage to Orlax, but the driver stops maybe like halfway to drop him off, refusing to go any further.
Some of the landscapes in this movie are really beautiful looking.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help but wonder if all of it's just been covered by Starbucks now.
Oh, yeah, it
like a
probably is.
McDonald's.
It's probably all like,
Like a Target.
yeah. Wawa's.
I was just wondering because I was looking at it because like the world's so different. And it's like 102 years old now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, the world probably just looks very different.
102 years old.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I know.
Yeah.
Same age as me.
Side note, there was a short film one time I saw called Dinner, which is supposed to take place in a future where all like the old forests of the world are like cut down due to industrialization and modernization. So all like the witches and elves and fairies and gnomes and other creatures from fairy tales like have nowhere to go. So they start moving into cities. So you have like Chinatown and Koreatown, and you have Fairy Town. And I just like, just thinking of the idea of like how the landscape must be so different. So many of the stories come from like those forests and those uninhabited regions, because one of the scariest things is the unknown. But like, what if we remove those areas where everything is flat cityscapes, so like what would happen to our myths then? And I like the idea of that, but you're right. Like, I like that one of the aspects of like saving films like this is that we get to see the world as it was and like preserve that moment in time
Before we fucked it up.
before we screwed it all up. But one of the cards I want to talk about is like they mentioned that Hutter had eerie visions. Do you think that these are visions that he is having because of the region that he's in, or do you think it has something to do with the book? Like maybe just reading about that stuff before bed like gave him like bad dreams and his imagination's running away with him, or do you think this might be something supernatural that he's experiencing?
I think it's it might be like a little bit of both. You know what I mean? Like he is afraid, but also that I think like fear is the leading cause to like letting in the bad stuff.
Yeah.
So like him being afraid of what he's reading kind of like
Was he afraid though? Because he was just kind of like, fuck this.
Well, yeah, definitely in the next day, like he was like, fuck it, whatever. But yeah, they say he did have like a, weird visions and stuff.
Do you think it's the closer he gets to evil? Like the closer he's moving to that castle, the more it's like that thing like infects you.
I think it
That's
is.
a good
I
way
think
of
it's like
putting it, especially given the plague theme.
Yeah.
Just something. I don't know.
I like it.
You're fucking wrong.
I'm on drugs.
Luckily for Hutter, as he's walking along, another horse and carriage come along and pick him up. Not driven by Orlok at all.
Did he think that disguise was gonna fool anyone?
Yeah, he's just like, ooh. He's like
Put a
hunched over.
mustache on.
Yeah, and he has like, and like a weird like hat on and stuff. But
I'm definitely not the guy you're gonna go talk to in a couple seconds.
Did you guys notice like the horses were wearing like executioner masks as well?
Yeah.
I was like, all right, that's pretty cool. I like it.
They're into S&M.
Yeah. Hutter gets to Orlok's and he's greeted by Orlok himself. And Orlok tells Hutter all his like people are asleep and that he will like be attending to him.
I love him coming out of the shadows.
Oh yeah.
Towards him, it's so like, oh shit.
Yeah.
If I saw that, I'd just be like, no, absolutely not.
Inside, Orlok reads the contract. And by the way, I think Orlok needs glasses because he's like practically holding the paper to his face. He's like this. He's like.
This was what I brought up. This was what I brought up in our discussion about Dracula because Bella does the same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what I thought of immediately was that shot because of how, intensely he's reading the paper that's 3 inches from his face.
Yeah.
Like.
You're like, whoa.
It's funny too because this is not a spoiler, but I think Nicholas Holt's reaction to him is so real in the new one. Hutter is so fucking relaxed sitting at the table with what is clearly a monster.
Yeah.
Well, you saw his boss.
I know, but
like he's used to dealing with really eccentric, weird-looking people who act very strange.
Locke is like way scarier than Orlok.
Yeah.
You know.
That's true.
Yeah.
This guy goes to
Orlok is more handsome.
This guy goes to work in the morning and people warn him about death every day. So like you have a little bit of desensitivity there.
We should start saying that to people. Like, see if we can get that to
you're
come
gonna
back.
fucking die soon.
Gonna rot.
Also, the timepiece that's in that room.
Oh yeah.
I love the skeleton on it.
The little skeleton.
I want
it's so
that.
cute. I know. I love that.
It's very Memento Mori.
Yeah, I love it. It's really cool.
What was that?
Memento Mori.
What is that?
It is a style of art in which they incorporate skeletons doing everyday things. It means remember that you will die.
Write that down for me and text it because that sounds like my kind of art. Just skeletons doing random shit.
Yeah.
I would love that. But anyway.
That's become such a huge part of like pop culture right now. There's so many people that have skeletons in their yard. And the skeletons are always like around Halloween and stuff.
Oh, they have the 12-foot skeletons from Home Depot, and now I just drove by one on the way here that is wearing like red pants and a giant Santa hat, and is like helping put up the lights outside the house.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's become like kind of like a everyday, like weirdly part of our culture now.
Yeah,
like these giant skeletons in the yard. But anyways, Orlok reads over the contract, and Hutter is just eating. Like, he's just, like, fucking pounding it away, right? Like he's just like, and accidentally
Well,
at
nobody
one
would
point,
take him, and he spent all day hiking up the mountain till he got to the Borgo Pass. So
That's true,
Orlok
yeah.
could get him. So he hasn't eaten since he demanded a meal at the inn the day before.
yeah, and I don't even think that he got it. And accidentally,
They gave him a glass of something, which might have been wine, but I like to think it was Palinka.
oh, okay. You know what? It was probably just piss. So,
Like, screw this guy.
We got 2 drinks here.
hold
We
on.
got
let
piss
me-
and coffee.
Yeah, hold on. We'll be right back. We're gonna get you a cup of water, and they just go to the horse and like just pisses into the cup. Here you go, buddy. So he's cutting some bread, and he accidentally cuts his finger, and that's when Orlok approaches Hunter. He's like, oh, blood, how precious, you know. And Hunter's like, the fuck?
Weirdly, where I come from, people say much weirder things to me.
The look that he gave him, John was like, oh no, I cut my dick. Someone's gonna have to suck it.
Yeah, basically, that's how it went down. And then Orlok is like, hey, you know what? Maybe you should go get some sleep. And Orlok's like, here, I'll show you to your chair. And
I know he has him sleeping like an easy boy.
yeah, he like turned down like a chair for him to sleep on. And Hunter just falls asleep in this chair and it doesn't look comfortable at all. And
I guess like when you think about it, Count Orlok probably wouldn't have a bed.
oh yeah, well,
Why would he have
obviously he has a coffin.
It doesn't seem like he has a lot of parties.
Yeah.
Hey, remember that party that we had? No one showed up.
Yeah.
Remember that?
It was
New
pretty
Year's
cool.
Eve was sad.
That was like the best New Year's Eve I ever
Actually, it
had.
was a step up from
Yeah.
the previous years.
Did you guys hear from the bee?
Oh, the bee has written to us, yes.
Yeah.
He actually follows us.
All right.
And you could too if you go on Freakles Podcast. Wherever you listen to your fucking podcast. Hey, if you're listening to us right now, just stop. And just follow.
Follow.
Yeah.
And
Do it.
Do it right now.
And
We'll wait.
we have a commercial coming up. Rory's doing ASMR stuff now, so here we go.
I also have something for DiGiorno pizza. But that'll be later.
So the next morning, Hunter wakes up and he notices 2 little
And the
marks.
director, you can hear him screaming, bigger, bigger,
Bigger.
bigger. Because he's
Arms,
stretching. And
stretch
he's,
more, stretch more.
I
no
don't
less.
believe you.
I didn't hear your back crack.
Yawn, you bitch. And then at one point, he notices like these 2 marks on his neck, like 2 little puncture wounds. And he doesn't give 2 shits because he's like, oh, there's a table full of food. So
You know what's like really weird was that I guess Count Orlok left him a bill.
And then Hunter's like, what?
John was like, a matte painting, yum. And then he's like, oh, it is actual food. He's like, I couldn't tell with the colorization.
Delicious matte painting.
So Hunter steps outside, and we get some like really great shots of what that area looks like. It's beautiful, and some exterior shots. And
Now it's a Walmart.
now there's a Walmart, and he writes a letter to Ellen. He's like, yeah, you know, like it's beautiful here. But there's like a serious mosquito problem, I think the castle's having. And he like describes like, yeah, the 2 bite marks are maybe like an inch apart from each other. They punctured me right in the neck. No big deal, whatever.
What kind of short-term memory loss does this guy have that
Right.
immediately upon daylight he forgets everything horrible that happened to him the night before?
Yeah.
And also, your wife has anxiety, and you're gonna send her all the terrible things. Like, hey, here's the things that are awful, but don't worry.
Yeah, he
it's
says-
still awful.
Fear not. Fear not. I'm okay. All this shit that happened, fear not. I'm okay.
Hey, all this terrible thing happened. All these terrible things happen to me. Allow your anxiety to imagine what could happen to me next. But I'm fine, and don't worry about it.
I wish you went P.S. If I don't close the deal, we're gonna lose the house.
P.S. in BD. No big deal.
It'll be fun.
So
I don't like the mosquitoes were unfairly blamed. By the way, there
Yeah.
was no proof given that
right.
these mosquitoes had anything to do with this shit. So We'll give you an emoji later, guys. Mosquito.
He couldn't say they were bed bugs because he wasn't given a bed.
Right. He's like chair bugs. That night, he's hanging out with Orlok. And a picture of Hutter's wife kind of like pops out of the bag. And Orlok like ogles the shit out of this picture.
Dude, that was the weirdest title card. It's like, can I borrow this for 10 minutes?
Yeah.
It's like, no. No fair.
He's just in the bathroom. He's like,
Wait, what? How did that go? He was
Mr. Orlok, are you okay? I'll be right out. I'm coming. I'm coming. So Orlok is like, holy shit, like looking at this picture, and he's like, she has a lovely neck. Not like, oh, she's very pretty. She has nice hair. Like, that hairstyle is pretty cool. Because Orlok, by the way, has like 2 patches of hair on his head. It's like right over his ear. And
it's called the Voorhees.
Yeah. And he is like, yeah, what a lovely neck on that one. And Orlok signs off on all the paperwork. And Hutter's like, you know what? I got to bounce. I'm going to bounce out of here. And as he packs up,
well, he says like he's like, I'm buying the deserted house next to yours.
Yeah.
Next letter says, great news, Ellen, we're moving.
We're moving. But as he packs up, Hutter reads the book, and he finds it kind of like it relates to Orlok a little bit. Like he's like, oh, wait a second. This seems like it's like kind of relating to a situation I'm in right now, right? There's like the 2 bite marks. Yeah. And then Orlok then shows up in Hutter's room.
And it's so fucking cool.
And Hutter is
like
freaking the
F out. Frame.
Yeah.
And it's like you have nowhere to go.
Well,
like he's completely in command.
While he's not paying attention, the door opens unaided.
On its own. Yeah.
And first off, for the time, amazing effect.
Right.
It's like a little bit of stop motion kind of a thing when they do the appearance and disappearance of stuff, but like just to see the door open, and that's what catches his attention, and then just all of a sudden, dude in the doorway.
Yeah.
That dude
in this scene is effectively...
Seriously, can I borrow the locket?
Yeah. Seriously, though, can I borrow that locket? Just 10 minutes, no big deal. I'll be quick.
I'm a neck guy.
When he walks, he doesn't move his arms.
Yeah.
Like, we expect that very mammalian kind of sway to the arms when you walk, but his are just, like, straight by his side.
Yeah.
It's very eerie because humans don't move like that, so it almost causes, like, that uncanny valley thing.
Let me in, Hutter. You're floating. You're floating. But anyway, yeah, so this scene is effectively creepy. Like, the way it's shot, like,
Absolutely.
the use of shadows, the way he, like... just you feel creeped out. And this movie came out in 1922, so I can't even imagine being like a person watching this movie for the first time without like the knowledge of other like films and other monsters.
Think about the stuff they kept in this film that was cut out of Universal's Dracula.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if a German company had just made Universal's Dracula.
Holy shit, right? Like, this is really a really, really creepy scene. And I think that, like, carries on. Mm-hmm. It will carry on for generations. Like, it's so good. And insanely awesome. And the makeup for Orlok is really cool.
Yeah.
I like, it's such a unique look. Because obviously, I think everyone... if they saw Nosferatu, they can identify Nosferatu. He's just like becomes
very
such
specific.
Yeah.
Whenever you see like the bald vampire in the black and the pale skin,
yeah,
you know the reference immediately.
Right, like Salem's Lot, like goes.
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Oh my god, yeah. But it's so iconic, and yeah, for 1922 to have like the makeup effects for Orlok to look that cool, oh my god, it's just incredible.
It's definitely an achievement.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Ellen wakes up in the middle of the night and she begins to walk to the balcony like she was auditioning for the Flying Graysons. And And Harding he wakes up and he sees her because she's like just walking along like the top of the balcony, like the almost the railing of the balcony, and he like catches her before she like steps off, and
you're a guest in my house. Could you not do that shit?
Yeah, it's
well,
like
I think this is supposed to be the scene in the book where Lucy is sleepwalking.
Yeah.
So I don't think I think they realize like, oh, she's asleep. She doesn't even realize she's doing this because she has terrible anxiety. So between the sleepwalking and the anxiousness, like, you've just left your mentally challenged wife. Like,
Yeah.
she's got obviously some struggles that she's dealing with
definitely
her
like
mental health.
anxiety stuff. Yeah.
So, and you just left her with your friends who are like ill-equipped to deal with this. They're just like,
Yeah.
Well, he prescribed her a prescription of it'll be okay.
Yeah.
fear not.
Fear not.
Fear not.
So
I was fearing it until you told me not to.
Yeah.
So we then see like Orlok in a
Oh,
very
there's not a shadow that engulfs you, is there? Oh no!
Oh no. We see Orlok in a very passed out Hutter, and somehow Ellen is kind of seeing this stuff too, and has like a sense of it. Like there's like almost like a tie to this evil that's like attached to Hutter right now.
Right, and in the novel Dracula, Mina has the visions of Dracula, but that's after they exchange blood. So
Right.
why? Like, so again, is it just because she's so empathetically tied to Hutter that she's getting these visions, or is there something supernatural about her? Like, could she be slightly psychic?
Or is it like
Right.
the evil in this movie is kind of like a sickness or something that like it goes on to Hutter and then it spreads out throughout all of his life?
Was it in the letter?
What's up?
Oh,
'Cause
she
that's
didn't
the
even
only-
get the letter yet.
Because I got
Oh,
the
yeah,
sense
I
that
know.
like
So,
he
I mean,
sees.
How could it spread to her without if they're like so like he hasn't gone back to her yet? So like that's why I'm thinking.
Do you think maybe it has something to do with him seeing the photo of her? Like something.
Okay.
You understand that?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, there's
Oh.
like something
When
going
he,
on there.
you know,
Because people didn't want to be
So-
photographed because they thought it was a piece of your soul.
Yeah.
So if he has part of her soul with him, then it's infected.
That's something.
Yeah, that could be a thing.
Yeah.
Take that and do something with it.
Yeah. Hutter wakes up weak and he goes to the basement, to like the basement level
real
of
quick,
the castle.
Is that when Ellen is in bed
and she yells out?
She's like
yeah.
screaming. There's a real cool
She's
cut.
like Hutter, yeah.
There's a really cool cut where like they have like Orlok turning, and she's like reaching out,
Yeah.
and it's like she's like looking to like the left of the frame, and he's kind of like looking to the right, and it's like they're connected through a great distance.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool.
It's so cool.
I agree.
Yeah. It's just like you could feel
His power just kind of
like like
Reaching
she's
out to her.
seeing this and he's seeing her seeing it.
Yeah.
It's really good. Yeah, Hutter wakes up weak and he goes to the basement level of the castle where he finds Count Orlok in his coffin, and he does like the funniest sideways crawl up the stairs like back to his room. I think it's just funny because he's like, "Ugh," like, and he like almost like a Billie Eilish thing where it's like, "Ugh," like up the side of the thing.
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
Did he find the coffin by mistake, like just wandering around, or do you think he was drawn to it?
I think he had like suspicions when he like woke up and he was just like, all right, I'm gonna look around this
Where's
place.
this guy sleep? Like,
Yeah.
where is he during the daytime?
And I think he just like was like, okay, I'm gonna look around and just start from the bottom up, and then he opens the coffin and he's like, holy shit.
Oh shit!
And just like goes up to his room.
I was kind of hoping when he
it's
opened
a
up.
corpse, and the eyes are open and unstaring, and it looks like a dead body.
Yeah, it's so cool.
I thought it'd been cool if he like kind of nodded for Hutter to get in the coffin with him, kind of winked at him.
He's like,
Hey,
Bring that picture of your wife.
Hey, what are you doing here?
yeah. He just kind of bounces his eyebrows.
Yeah, he's like,
Hey, hey
So
Hutter.
that is
Hey Hooter.
that the end of that
You
scene
did.
is where Act 2 ends. So what is the full title of this film?
A Symphony of Horror.
Do you know the definition of the word symphony? It is a piece of music played by an orchestra that has 4 movements. How many acts are in this movie?
4.
There are 5.
There are 5?
There are 5.
Oh, man.
Whoops. Hey, FW
jeez.
Murnau, we're going to get a Ouija board and tell you off.
Yeah, fuck you, buddy. But yeah, he kind of like watches from the bedroom as Orlok packs up all his coffins and takes off. And I just love how like Orlok is like just fucking like carrying each coffin like it's nothing.
With one arm.
Yeah.
One arm.
Yeah.
And like, I love that he stacks all the boxes up, and then he puts the last one up, throws the lid off, gets inside, and then the lid moves by itself in that fun stop motion-y way.
It's so cool looking.
I think it would have been funny if like he got them all loaded and then he started going forward, but he forgot to like secure them in the back and they fell off and they had to like get out and do it again.
And he just keeps going. He doesn't even know they fell off. Ah, shit.
Ah, no.
Or like, just his falls off and the rest of the boxes of dirt go away and his coffin is just sitting there in the middle of the road.
In the middle of the road.
This is not how it was supposed to go at all.
All the way down the road, there's coffins.
And Hunter watches this. He's like,
This guy's not so scary, I guess.
yeah,
This guy's like a buffoon.
this guy fucking sucks. So Hunter, at this point, calls out to Ellen and then climbs down climbs out of the window for some reason instead of using the unlocked door, which we all know he just used. Like, we just saw him use, like,
Yeah.
like he literally went out of his room downstairs.
Short-term memory loss.
Yeah.
Seriously.
He was like, you know what? I'm going to climb out of this fucking window.
By the end of this movie, he's gonna be like the character from Memento, where he just keeps running.
He just has all tattoos, old school tattoos, but yeah, he like ties his bed sheets together to like climb out of this window, and you're like, dude, you could use the door. He's gone. Like, you could just go.
He left the keys on the table.
Yeah,
He wanted to.
but yeah, and so at a hospital we see a
Oh
nurse.
wait, but it's funny because he climbs down and then he runs out of sheet, and then he falls,
Oh yeah, he falls. Yeah.
and then there was a title card that said, "Ouch, my butt."
Ow, my butt. Ooh, ah,
So stupid.
ooh, my butt.
Oucha.
My butt really hurts, guys. And
My-
it's just like keeps
I need,
going
an
on.
ass, I need an ass cast.
It just goes on for 5 minutes of title cards. My
You
butt,
just see him holding his
butt.
butt and running around.
and then it's just like my butt, my butt,
Ach, mein Keister.
my keister. Guys, seriously, anybody
My
out
keister should be a movie.
there? Ow, my keister.
Ah, my keister.
Ah, my keister. So
That sounds like a really bad comedy.
it sounds awesome.
It does.
I don't know what you're talking
I'm
about.
right. Hold on, so we're writing that down.
Yeah.
We're gonna make the movie My Keister, starring Willem Dafoe.
At a hospital, we see a nurse explain that Hunter was found by farmers and is hella feverish. And Hunter then wakes up and he just says coffins and passes back out. And then they're like,
I think he needs cough medicine.
is he coughing? Like,
I'm sorry,
what is that?
I know we moved past it, but as soon as you said starring Willem Dafoe, I thought, I'm something of a keister myself.
I'm something of a keister myself. Tally ho, Spider-Man. Just say
Okay, so
tally
he
ho.
passes out. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So then we see Orlok. He catches a ship to take him and his cargo to, what is it called again? Visberg?
Yes.
To his new home. And at
Did you catch the name of the ship?
No.
In the title card, they said the ship's name is the Impusa, which is a shapeshifter from Greek mythology, known to feed on young men like a vampire.
Oh, very cool. I didn't even catch that. That's really cool.
Because it was the Demeter.
The Demeter.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
And
so
I just
cool.
thought it was fun that they chose another name from Greek mythology.
Yeah, I love it.
Did you guys ever see that less interesting movie, the second to last voyage of the Demeter. Did you see that?
Oh yeah.
It's like
where they just had the rice patties that they were like transporting.
Yeah, and like nothing really happened. They just delivered it perfectly without a problem.
Well,
Did you see that one?
The one crew member he got scabies.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah,
but
that was the
scurvy?
drama.
Is it scurvy?
Scurvy is the thing you get from not having citrus.
Oh, yeah, no, he got scabies.
Oh, okay.
So, no, like someone else had probably scurvy, maybe, right?
Sure.
Yeah. But anyways, Orlok gets to the docks, and at the docks, the ship crew checks out like one of the coffins, before they like load it in, and we get a brief cameo from famous rat family of actors, because they lift up the coffin and there's a bunch of actors, rat actors there. The aristocrats, rats.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll give you it.
Family of actors. Okay, so anyways, now we cut over to Professor Bulwer, who is giving a course on nature and a carnivorous plant, the Venus flytrap, and he compares it to a vampire.
All those flies, man. They did their own stunts.
Yeah. Foolish, man.
It's the only stunt they ever performed.
Now we get like a title card that explains that Nock has kind of come under the influence of Nosferatu. And
well, they were corresponding first. So,
right.
I mean, he's had the longest exposure to him, honestly. Like, if not the most direct.
Yeah, and he has become kind of insane now.
Yeah.
And
prior to his connection to Orlok, he actually looked like Brad Pitt.
Right? He's like, hey, what's up, guys? Brad Pitt's always eating. So anyways, now Nock has grown insane, and at this hospital, he's eating flies, and he tries to, like, attack the doctor and stuff. Meanwhile...
But he yells, the blood is the life.
He's like, blood is the life. And then we see, at one point, Nock is now admiring the spiders. And it's very much like he is pretty much like the Renfield character.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, where was PETA for those four flies?
I know.
It was a fly massacre.
Yeah, there's a lot
That's
of
why this movie got burned.
Yeah.
It's a snuff film.
So Ellen is now seen longing for the return of Hutter. So we see Harding and his sister, they're playing croquet, and a letter arrives from a mailman who hangs out in the bushes. What is he doing there?
He was looking at her really nice neck, apparently.
I guess.
This Jack-worthy neck.
So he arrives with the letter, and the two Hardings, they run over to the beach where...
Looks like something out of a Bergman film.
It really does. It looks like The Seventh Seal.
Yeah.
Like, it's really shot, like,
the
awesome.
shot on the beach with all the crosses
Yeah.
is just so beautiful, but like kind
Haunting.
of sad. Yeah, haunting.
Yeah.
That's a good term for it.
And they race over to give her the letter, and Ellen wastes like no time reading it. And at the hospital, Hutter wakes up, and he's like, I gotta get out of here. And he takes the first horse out of town.
Did you notice that he had drawn some of those same symbols from the letter on the wall?
Yeah. It's awesome. It's crazy. Nock then steals a letter / newspaper from a guard stating a plague broke out. So on this newspaper, they're talking about how this plague has kind of swept over the town. Or not the town, but at different ports where people are found with 2 bite marks on their necks. And Nock is pretty stoked. He's like, "Oh, this is great. This is some good shit in the news today."
Well, it's kind of interesting that they're saying that it started with people in this port town.
Yeah.
Because the bubonic plague was spread by the fleas on the rats. So people would have flea bites on them. And then that's how they would get sick, is they would be transferred through the blood. So I thought that was such an interesting parallel, is that it started at a port from the ship coming in, but instead of a rat, it's a different... And I think that's part of the reason for the rat-like appearance.
I was just gonna say, the inspiration for the makeup definitely looks like it has some kind of rodent look. You know? Yeah.
Which I approve.
Me too.
I like the
love
mices.
It. At sea, we see a lot of shots of Orlok's ship making way, and the ship captain is notified that one crew member has now fell ill, and the captain goes to see this crew member, and he doesn't even care. He's just like, oh, fuck you, get back to work. And the crew member's like, I'm dying. And we see, like, as this crew member is laying on this, like, kind of a hammock-looking thing, yeah, he looks over to, like, where the coffins are, and we have, like, this really cool image where it's like a ghostly form that's, like, semi-transparent. Yeah, like a
cool composite type of thing. It's neat.
Of Count Orlok sitting on... It's so
creepy.
Yeah.
Just staring at him.
And just, like, staring over. And, like, the actor playing the dying crew member is really good.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't, like, oversell it. Like, he does a really good job in that scene. And it's only, like, this one scene this guy has. But, as it turns out, this crew member, he ends up dying, as well as most of the crew on the ship. Only the captain and first mate are left at this point.
Yeah.
And what they've been doing is, as each member has been dying of the crew, they're dropping the dead into the sea, and we see, you know, them getting a body, and they're ready to, like, throw it overboard.
They, like, wrap them up in a sheet.
Yeah.
That's what we actually do to the Frequels guests.
Right.
After they're done recording with us.
I just keep escaping. I'm real slippery.
Oh, by the way, what size sheet are you?
I'm not telling you.
Okay.
What size sheet are you? So the first
extra large, please, so I can slip away.
So the first mate decides to go down below armed with an axe. Where
I love this guy's acting.
Oh, he's great. The ship captain he's made to look like, he kind of looks like Locke. Like, some of the actors in this have, like, weird makeup wigs stuff going on.
It was the muttony chops. It's like they just, like, took Nock's wig and were like, just put it on your cheeks.
Yeah, put that on your cheeks a little bit. But
not those cheeks.
Not those cheeks, buddy.
My keister.
You're being like Hooter right now. So he goes to the basement where he sees Count Orlok rise from the coffin, which is so cool.
That is an awesome effect.
And there's so many vampire movies that have now...
I can think of two that jump right out of me.
Yeah.
Dracula Has Risen from the Grave. Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
And then Fright Night.
And Fright Night, yeah.
Jerry sits right up.
So he rises out of the coffin, and it spooks him out, and the first mate literally runs upstairs and just jumps off the ship. Like, he's like, I'm not dealing with that shit.
That is a very good reaction.
Yeah.
That's how Last Voyage of the Demeter should have ended.
Yeah. So then, as this happens, the captain ties himself to the helm and comes face to face with Orlok. And the rise of Orlok from the bottom of the ship to him approaching the captain, this all is, like, amazing.
Yeah.
It looks so good.
Oh,
yeah.
I have Raptors written in my page.
So. Raptors. Ooh, that's a term that's going to stick around. Raptors.
And there's something about there's, like, this one shot of the mast, right? Like, I guess it would be, like, the jib of the ship, right?
Yeah.
Like the front. And you see it kind of, like, rising up and, like, lowering in the water. It's almost like the ship itself is, like, breathing its, like, last breath.
Yeah.
As it's, like, approaching the port. But the
That's
way...
very poetic. I like that.
Right? Doesn't it look like... I mean, I was just like, holy crap, that looks like it's literally breathing.
But, like, that I can see it now that you say it.
Yeah, it's just, like, the way they keep on that for a while and come back to it, and it just looks like it's, like, literally, like, breathing.
That's neat.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I think the fact that you're wearing a beret right now really sells this whole thing.
Yeah, I love berets, man.
Man, you look good.
Thanks,
dude. You got the little black coat on and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
And as always, no pants.
No pants. He's Winnie the Pooh in it, even when he don't need to.
That's the only way I like to be.
And the final title card in this act?
Yeah.
Ach, my keister?
No.
Oh.
The Death Ship had a new captain.
Yeah. It's so good. So freaking
Like, some of these lines are like, okay, cheesy exposition, but it's like, oh, we gotta, so you couldn't show that, and you couldn't, like, say it because there was no vocals, but just to end it like that with that poetic phrase, I think was a perfect way to cap the end of that act.
Yeah.
And then also ... Ach, my keister really did really blew people's mind.
Yeah.
But the same thing I was saying earlier in the episode, I do love that low angle of kind of Orla kind of just like floating towards the...
it's so cool looking.
Yeah, it's like from below decks. It's just a great shot. Like, it's just like a very, like, stays in your brain shot.
To kind of like put it in perspective, it looks like an animal, like predator that's like approaching, like almost like a snake, right? Approaching its like prey, and it's just because the prey is like stationary. The captain is just tied to the helm, but it comes off so freaking scary, and because nature videos are like terrifying to watch sometimes, and that's what it felt like. You're watching like something on the Discovery Channel, and it's just like you're like, oh, the snake is fucking creeping me out, but it's really, really good. The next scene we see Ellen. She steps out on the balcony, and she's again kind of in this trance, and she says, he's coming and I must go to him. And
could you get that photo away from him?
He's coming, I must go to him. Please get that photo off of this guy. No, so the ship arrives, and Locke feels how close the ship is. He's like, the master is here, the master is here.
Actually, if we could just run back to that scene with Ellen, I have in my notes, Ruth fails to stop Ellen. You know she's ill and you let her run from the house.
Yeah.
Like, she has terrible anxiety and she's prone to sleepwalking. She's probably fine. She's just going to the beach.
She'll be okay.
She's going to the Bergman Beach.
Yeah. Which is so cool looking. And so at one point, Locke is like really pumped because he could feel the presence and of his master. And Locke kind of attacks.
Locke?
Is it Locke?
In the subtitles of the version I watched, it said knock.
Oh, is it Knock? Oh, maybe, I don't know.
EJ will be replaced
Knock
next week.
I mean, it makes sense. Orlok and Knock, that's like too similar. So
we're so sorry.
Knock. Yeah,
we're so sorry.
So Knock then attacks the guard and escapes. And then at this point, we see where Orlok is seen leaving the ship carrying his coffin to his new pad.
The first him emerging from the hold.
Oh, yeah. It's
like,
so
that
cool.
That shot is so creepy.
Yeah. And like how they use like the stop motion for the thing kind of to open on its own.
Is that like stop motion, or is that just like something with the frame rate? Because like if you film with fewer than 24 frames a second, it makes that like
jumpy.
Yeah, like you're like like the fast speeding up motion.
Right.
And then it's like if you film more than 24, that creates that slow motion effect. So I think that's what they're doing there. I think that's actually like fewer than 24 frames a second.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so it's really cool because you see like the top kind of like come back on its own. Almost like how the
dark... Oh, you're talking about the coffin part.
Oh, yeah.
No. When the tarp pulls back from the hold.
Uh-huh.
And he comes
up.
And,
like, there's nobody touching.
I thought we were talking about the part when
it folds over, and then it's a little bit more.
Yeah, that would be more like the stop animation or stop go. I was referring more to that part when he like has the coffin under his arm and he's just like, woo!
Oh, that. Yeah. No, I'm talking about like, in the ship when the thing, it kind of like the tarp like folds back. Sure. It's so cool looking. But I do like Orlok seen leaving the ship carrying his coffin to his new pad. And we also see Hutter arrive home, and Ellen passes out at the sight of him, but she like wakes up and relieved he's back and kisses him. And
then says, "Ellen, I'm just here to tell you I have to leave again."
Yeah. So as they're like embracing and kissing and stuff, you just see like Orlok out right in front of their house. He is running outside with the coffin in his arm, getting to his new place, and it's just like such a weird like old-timey villain like that would tie someone to a train tracks, you know what I mean? It's just so like do 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 do, and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool though. I don't know.
Complete with the dastardly grin.
Yeah. And so meanwhile at the docks, people find the ship captain tied to the helm dead, and also noted they get the captain's log about all the additional crew being dead and stuff.
As I just wanted to point out, as he's leaving the ship, there's more racting.
Ooh, I saw him.
And also, when he's carrying the coffin, there is a bat that flies overhead.
I saw that. I will say also that all of those rats received Oscars.
Yeah.
Deservedly so.
They did. They really earned it.
The horses were snubbed, but I think that's fair.
It's because of all the shit talking.
Yeah.
They were not thought of.
The industry's a game, and you got to play it.
I know.
All the hee-hawing.
All the they didn't play the game. That's okay.
Yeah, they didn't do that shit.
Hey, one question though. So like, it seems like Hutter and Orlok arrive at the same time.
Right.
But like Orlok got a fucking head start on him.
Right.
How'd they get there at the same time like that?
Maybe
probably because Hutter was traveling over land, and
he was like sleeping for a month. He was in the hospital with the ladies.
But he's traveling over land, whereas vampires have to wait for the tides. So that's why Dracula kept making storms in the book, because he could only like leave at certain times. So
really,
it's good. Yeah.
Oh, thanks for letting me know that. I would like to
also how they
take
beat him
back
at the
my
end
criticism.
is because they were traveling over land and Dracula was going by sea.
I see.
On Frequels, we like to admit that sometimes we are real quick to go for a joke and don't always think things out. So thank you for correcting me.
No problem. Thanks to Elle for doing it.
Yeah.
She's
Glad I could slap down your joke real hard.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a 2%er joke. It wasn't anything I'm afraid to lose.
But I have Hutter and Ruth are reunited as Orlok floats to his new home.
Yeah.
Well, actually, he's not floating. No, I'm kidding.
So, at a town meeting, they read more of the captain's log, and it says stardate. No, I'm just kidding. But they assume there's a plague, and they tell everyone to go home and lock the windows, because that's the only way to stop a plague. And this whole town.
What say you, Herr Fauci?
And the town basically shuts down. And a guy we see going around like marking the doors of like the different people who may have died.
I really love the scene of the guy who's doing the announcement, like walking down the empty, deserted streets by himself, just playing that drum. It is so chilling because it's so like it's a bustling town and it's just him by himself.
And then that guy from earlier in the movie walked by and said, "I told you we were all gonna die."
Yeah, he's like, "I told you,
wasn't I right?"
No, he's like, "I told you we were all gonna."
The end is nigh, bitches. The end is nigh. But Ellen is deep in the book that Hutter brought home, right? She's like reading all the lore of Nosferatu, and
definitely not going to make her anxiety worse.
Right, and she's like,
what helped her out though is that she actually started writing some fan fiction for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She's pretty like, good. You know what? What if there's like a high school?
What if somebody was super into my neck?
She looks out the window. There's all these guys ducking in the bushes.
Yeah,
it's like a real problem she has.
Why is everyone fucking obsessed with my neck?
That's why she's so anxious.
That's what the crosses are. It's all the guys who are dehydrated.
So Hutter enters and he takes the book off Ellen, and they kind of gesture to Orlok's new home, right? And she's like, "I feel someone like over there watching me," and we do get a couple
like
insert shots of like Nosferatu just staring out the window, not like a creep at all.
Like if there was a face that went with that sound you make, it is the face Nosferatu makes while staring out the window, just blatantly.
He's like, "Show us your neck."
Yeah. Hey, show your neck up, baby. When you got it, flaunt it.
Drop that scarf.
So Harding sees his sister is now ill. And so he's like, I got to rush to go get Sievers. And then we never see the Hardings after this.
Yeah. The very end of that scene where, like, they see the creeper and then she just looks, like, devastated.
Yeah.
And he looks... I really appreciate Hutter's acting here because he looks so devastated by her grief. Like, he looks helpless. Like, I don't know what to do. I can't make this better for her.
It's the Ellen, the actress who played Ellen, and obviously Orlok, Hutter, give like really awesome, timeless performances. They're really, really good. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Ellen watches as the town is just carting off all these coffins down the street. And again, it's so haunting. You're like, wow, this plague is really kind of taking over this town.
Did your version have laugh tracks?
Yeah, it did.
Because I thought that was...
like, ha, 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 ha. And then when they show like all the coffins, someone goes, ooh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So the town now is blaming Knock for all the mishaps and plague and stuff and start throwing stones at him. Because at one point he escaped and stuff. He's just running the streets of this town. And they see him up on a rooftop. He's just like chilling out, like hanging out up there, catching sun, I guess. I don't know. Or hanging out with Andy Dufresne. But he's on this rooftop. And as he's like up there, they start throwing stones up at him. And he's just like, all right, I'm going to run out.
He's like laughing. A couple of them obviously hit him in the head. And he's like, ah.
No, he throws one back and like totally murders a guy.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Good for him.
He was knocking at heaven's door.
I do have to say this about Knock. He has like a really good birthing hips. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah, for sure.
Like a what is it? A fupa? Yeah.
You can move on.
Yeah. I don't know what you call it.
Fupa's on the front?
Yeah. Yeah. So Count Orlok watches Ellen from the window, and she starts sleepwalking again, and Orlok starts to make his way over. He's like, "Oh man, I gotta get over there."
He put on his best wig.
Yeah, and Ellen awakens and asks Hutter to fetch Bulwer, the professor, and. Then we get this.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think she really needed him.
No.
I think she was just trying to get
him
Hutter
out
of the house.
Yeah, me too.
And because she looked at the book and she read that very plot-worthy description of what she needed to do.
Right.
And I think like she realized, like as she's watching the town and like, hang on. Oh yeah, all the coffins being carried through the town. I think she knew in that moment, like. Somebody's got to do something, and I'm afraid it might have to be me because I'm the only person who knows what to do.
Yeah, and so she almost like sets like this trap, this thirst trap, for Orlok.
Look at this neck.
Look at this
like
neck.
lotioning her neck.
She's like, yeah. She's trying on different scarves. Like, oh no,
oh, you're driving me crazy.
Don't do that. Cover that up.
Oh boy.
Oh, you get that off there, though. So as this is happening, he runs off to get Bulwer. Then we get like these awesome shots, like the shadows and silhouettes of Orlok as he's like approaching
ascending the stairs.
The most iconic stuff in this movie for sure.
Absolutely. And
I love that so much. Like that's like, you know, just when you talk about something being cinematic and just like
it's so
what
good.
Like German expressionism is.
Yeah.
It's some of my favorite stuff in any movie.
One of the coolest shots is literally you see the shadows of his hand kind of going over her chest and she grabs her heart.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's so good.
Yeah, it's really, really, really scary.
Yeah. And it's crazy to see what a visual, I don't even know, like genius that the director was to not have any like reference points at that point.
I think like a detriment to filmmaking was when we got into the talkies.
Yeah.
Because like I notice a lot of times anymore people just sort of explain the plot away. But like when you're doing silent films, it's like you really need to have like a visual language to convey certain things. So you cannot rely on somebody just talking. You actually have to show visuals of things occurring, and I think film
can lack that now.
Yeah.
There's very few things where I could look at something and be like, that is some good visual storytelling. And I think you mentioned Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which is a perfect example of like good visual storytelling.
Yeah.
You should Christmas Day. You're in for a
Christmas
treat.
morning. We're going to the 10 a.m. show.
Yeah. You're in for a treat. It's in the. Did you see the trailers?
I did.
That's that fucking shot of like the curtains billowing.
Yes.
And you see him for like a second, and he's gone. I'm like, Robert Eggers, what are you doing? Like, why are you so much better as a filmmaker than like the majority of the people? And he's like a young dude. Yeah. We're not going to talk about that.
No, I just have to say, like, can you imagine the director of this movie if he had the tools of today? He would be Robert Eggers, right? Like, I feel like
something like that's
you know
fair.
what I mean? I feel like he was such a trendsetter that if he was alive today, he would be considered probably like one of the best directors of like this era. You know what I mean?
At the same time, though, it's like the fact that they had such little technology and that he was able to convey the stuff that he has. Because like right now, like it's awesome that you have all the tools in the world to create anything that you can imagine.
Yeah.
But I'm much more in awe of people like F.W. Murnau for what they didn't have.
Yeah.
And
that's kind of why I like fan films, because these people have no budget, and I love the imagination that they put into all of it.
It's a weird thing. You get a big budget and you have all the tools in the world, and somehow it makes you lazy. Mm-hmm. And do you know what I mean?
Because you miss things like character and, you know, like putting acting and skills into this rather than just relying on special effects.
Yeah.
Michael Bay.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of filmmakers like that where they're just like, we'll use a computer, and you're like, that's
we'll fix it in post.
We'll fix it in post. So let's go.
But yeah, no. So like, as he approaches the silhouette, he grabs her heart, right, and she grabs her own heart, and it's just amazing. So then we see where Hutter gets Bulwer, and at the meanwhile, Orlok is feeding on Ellen, and this shot is like another one that's like iconic and terrifying, because he's like literally over her body, like, you know, draining her blood from her neck, and it's just so creepy. It looks like an animal or a snake like feeding on its prey.
So that's something that I really enjoy about the Count Orlok character. Is that he's not like sexy, like vampires drifted into movies like Vampires, Dracula Sucks. There we go. Like you see something like him, or even like 30 Days a Night. You ever seen 30 Days a Night?
I have.
Yeah.
I like when vampires are like animals.
Yes.
Like they're like so scary when they are what they are, but like when they're like more human, I don't know what it is. It's like Dracula is like not as scary to me as Count Orlok.
There's two approaches to it. And one of them is that they are animals, and they're a predator and you're prey.
Yeah.
And the other way that people play it is they're an anglerfish. So you're attracted to that bright, shiny light until you realize, there's teeth behind it.
Oh, sure.
So I feel like this one is definitely the former, and they did mention at one point in the cards like that. The shadow will latch onto you and until you're dead. So I like this last scene showing him just latched on, and I'll stay here until I'm sated, which will be when your heart stops.
Which is awesome.
It's so good. And as he feeds away, we see that the sun rises, and Orlok is so distracted and tempted by Ellen's neck.
It's actually the rooster crowing that alerts him.
The rooster crow, like alerts him, and he tries to make his way out, and we see the sun hits him, and he just like turns into like a pile of like
Smoke
Smoke
he
dust.
turns into a smoke effect.
Yeah, and
There's that look on his face like, shit.
Shit.
And blood draining, my only weakness.
Yeah.
In the novel, like, Dracula's able to move and do things during the day. He's just not at his full capacity.
Yeah.
So this was something new to the mythology at this point, where it's obviously meant to be Dracula, but it shows like, oh, he's vulnerable to sunlight.
And that's where that came from, right? It was from this film? The sunlighted version?
It's one of the first. I don't know if it's the first.
I feel like it may have started here. Because I know, again, like, it was a thing where they're like, well, we can't do what they did with Dracula.
Right.
And it makes sense in, like, a very, like, mythical kind of way, where it's like, he's the sum of all darkness.
Right.
And what vanquishes the darkness is the light, and it's awesome.
Right.
It's like you turn the light on and the monster is gone. Like, that's just really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Which kind of goes into one of the title cards earlier of
Mike Keister.
Yeah, Mike Keister. No, it talks about how the shadow, like the sunlight, has like pushed out the shadows that crept over the castle. Yeah, no. So, anyways, Ellen wakes up and she yells Hutter, and Hutter is there, but she then passes away. And that's basically how the movie ends, is like Ellen makes this ultimate sacrifice to save not only Hutter and the Hardings, but the whole town, basically, from like this evil plague that has haunted the town since Orlok got there.
One of the things I thought of at the end of this film was, I'm so excited to see the 2024 version.
Yeah.
Just because living in a post-COVID world where it's like we're still living through a pandemic.
Yeah.
Where people lost a lot of people, and, you know, wondering where it started, how it's transmitted, and like the fear, the panic, the, you know, misinformation and mistrust that can come from all that. I would love to see how that plays out in a new interpretation. Notice how I'm not looking at Rory, because I don't even want his face to give away anything about this film.
I know. I don't want to know. So,
it's like funny to me, by the way, that I've had to be so quiet about this movie, because like I think I saw it the first week of November. Like, it was a while ago.
Yeah,
like, I feel like I saw this movie a while ago, and it doesn't come out until Christmas.
1 week.
Yeah. So it's just like a thing where I'm like, I'm just excited for people to see it so I can finally talk about it, because I don't want to ruin a thing. But anyway, so Ellen's dead. Happy ending.
Happy ending. Ellen's dead. Hutter cries.
Happy ending for her. She didn't seem like she wanted to be here.
Yeah, she's like, I'm out.
One thing I was wondering is, in the character design of Count Orlok, how much of his features were exaggerated, do you think? Because I notice, like, with a lot of monsters, like goblins, witches, like, they tend to exaggerate, like, the nose, the chin, and like it's
ears.
Meant to, and like all of that is rooted in like stereotypes that were anti-Semitic. So I'm wondering how much of that was intentional here because of the history of the region where it was filmed.
Oh, right. You know what? I think it was I think it was more for like the animal, like I would, for Orlok's look, I would more put it towards like the makeup artist maybe being inspired by rats and
well, it was the pronounced nose that made me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I went with like the rodent approach of it.
Oh, I definitely see that.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine anything anti-Semitic coming out of Germany.
What?
That's the most clever thing I've said all day.
Fuck.
Just an interesting tidbit I found in my research was on August 24th of 1349, 6,000 Jews were massacred in Mainz, Germany, blamed for spreading the plague.
Oh, wow. Holy crap. Yeah.
So, I mean, just if we're going with the plague theme from the rest of it, I mean, that's an important bit of history to note that might have an effect on how this film is viewed by its audience.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy. But yeah, I took it, more of a like an animal looking thing.
I thought they just wanted to make him spooky.
I thought he wanted to.
That's as depthful as I get.
Yeah.
I think he looks like a monster.
Yeah, he does.
But I like the ties to shadow, and you never know what's in the dark. And
the use of silhouettes and everything in this
beautifully
movie,
done.
So good. All right, so now that we finished, I think we could all agree this is an amazing movie that we would all recommend to anybody.
Yeah, it's like top tier horror.
Yeah,
but you said at the beginning though, and I agree with you, it's not for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people I know, like they just can't handle like silent films, and that's fine. But if you can, and you can give yourself, it's almost like a reward. You know what I mean? Because it's like
worth it.
It's like, there's like a weird sort of thing attached to silent cinema that people act like they're not going to be able to get into it. They're going to be bored. And to that, I always just say, watch any Charlie Chaplin movie.
I personally,
I know you like Buster Keaton. I got you.
I'm a Buster Keaton
but they're
guy.
both great.
Yeah, I love both.
Silent cinema is really powerful because I was just talking about it before. It's the fact that everything is visual, and they actually had to come up with some pretty powerful visuals to actually make the movie worth making. Probably get some money together. Be like, we got this idea. You have to be able to show it. And it's not just people explaining the plot away.
Yeah.
Thankfully, that kind of shit is not found in the Nosferatu 2024 because it's also very visual.
Yes.
If anyone has ever seen the music video for Living Dead Girl by Rob Zombie, then you will very much enjoy The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Yeah, that's a great one too. Yeah. I think that's something we should try to get rid of in this world is this negative... that movie. No, like the negative...
Burn all the copies.
Get rid of all of them. Just like that weird thing that people have in their head about like silent movies. It's like just watch one. Just pick like Nosferatu is a good place to start. Yeah. Really again Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin, any of those movies. Like you'll find that it's actually far more engaging and interesting and powerful. But we don't have to talk about silent cinema anymore.
Why not?
I just want to talk about dolphins.
But yeah, let's go into emojis. Rory, do you want to start us off?
I do. My emojis are all pretty solid this week. I did a lot of thought. I got a cat, right?
Okay.
Got some rats. Probably about 40 of them.
Oh my god, that's literally my emojis. 40 rats.
40 rats.
Yeah.
Nice.
About a baker's dozen horses. Mice. Got some mice in here.
Oh, good.
Flies. Got some flies. Spiders. Mm-hmm. I got them there. A bat.
Oh, yeah.
A rooster.
Oh, important.
Striped hyena.
Very important. Yeah, I got him. Hyena. Striped specifically. And then a little vampire face. Guy going, wah. How about you?
I have a mosquito.
Ooh, nice.
Mosquito bites. I have a book.
Oh, yeah.
I have a black heart for the shadows.
Ooh.
And I have 3 rats for the rats speech. Because I know it's not in this film, but I think I thought about it every time I saw those rats.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
What do you got?
What do you got?
I got 40 rats. That was my whole... That's all the emojis I had.
Nice.
Good job.
There's 40 rats.
Yeah, that's a lot. 40 emojis.
Yeah, exactly. But all right. With that being said, let's get into plugs. Elle, what would you like to plug? You go first.
Mein Frunds. 3 Jacks might seem like just another one of those fast food places, but those corporate chains can't compete with the value and flavor of 3 Jacks. I have eerie visions of their mouth-watering burgers, like the Port Authority, their burger of the month that's topped with deep-fried mac and cheese, brisket, and smoked barbecue mayo. Your shadow will definitely latch on and devour it. Ooh. But don't wait until sunrise. Come on down to 3 Jack's Burger Bar. Basics done better.
Boom.
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 And don't forget about Gravy Diggers, now approved by RFK. Also, fun movie fact. It wasn't the plague or the supernatural that caused all the deaths in Visburg. It was the original recipe for Gravy Diggers.
It's a family recipe.
Gravy diggers, the dish that will very likely kill you.
Love it.
Also, you might be familiar with my husband, Jon Snow.
Jon Snow,
Metal Messiah. Jon Snow.
If EJ has been doing a great job of plugging him and saying you have to see him live. If you're like, where can I do that? The Ritz Theater in Scranton on January 11th, Saturday. Doors open at 7 p.m. It is Issues, the Korn tribute band. Also, Tribute of a Down, their System of a Down tribute band. Wait and Bleed, the Slipknot cover band. And they are playing with their friends Fistful of Steel, who does which is a Rage Against the Machine cover band.
Oh, hell
cool.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. The show you need to be at if you're in Scranton on January 11th. Also,
yes.
If you want to see friend of the show, Tommy Tomeo, and myself perform Shakespeare, I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
Macbeth. We're not in the theater, so I can't say it. That is January 17th through the 19th, and the weekend of the 24th through the 26th at the Providence Playhouse in Scranton.
Yeah, Actors Circle. Go check it out. These guys are going to kill it, and I know it, and I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it. But, no, I'm really pumped. I can't wait.
What are your plugs?
Yeah, go ahead, River.
I got Raven View Productions. Production company where
what do they do there?
Make movies, make podcasts like the one you're listening to.
What's the name of it?
Raven View Productions.
How do you say that?
Raven View Productions.
Nice.
I like that.
Fourth Cut Reviews, Keyboard Warrior, Chris Conforti bringing you reviews.
Yeah.
Sometimes podcasts, whatever he's got going on. We got Variant Season. You can check them out also. Friends of Jon Snow, Metal Messiah. Look up their rock music wherever you listen to rock podcasts and stuff.
Shit.
Music. Schwartz Dreamboat. He's our comedian, friend, resident comedian. He's brilliant, and you need to look him up.
Residential comedian.
The guy has he's always on. He's always hilarious. He sends me messages throughout the day that I think are.
Where could we find him?
Go ahead.
Residential comedian.
He's on YouTube.
Chris Schwartz.
He's on YouTube. He's on Facebook. I think he's on Instagram as well. You can look him up.
If you're not on YouTube watching his Not Scary Stories series, then what are you doing with your life?
Yeah, they're pretty fantastic. Friend of the show, Dave Gonzalez. You can find him at the Cinematic Reel. You can look up his podcast, Real Chronicles, which I pop on. Yeah, something like that. But
you pop on and you pop off. Talking about movies,
just like Nosferatu. But yeah, Real Chronicles. Yes, you can look up that podcast. I will pop up on there, and I will bring the show down a few points. Most importantly, oh, by the way, Gravy Diggers.
Yeah,
you already brought them up, so I'm gonna do that this week. Thank you. Kitties of any PA Pet Rescue. These cats, you won't see them eating Gravy Diggers, but you can see them walking the streets sometimes, and they're cold and they need homes, and you gotta do something about that. Go out and adopt some cats.
Do it right, meow.
Do it right, meow. And you can buy them some blankets. You can get them some food. And honestly, just make your life better. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It really, like, if you're stressed out like Ellen, you just look miserable all the time, just get a cat in your life.
Yeah.
And you're going to feel better.
Notice how when she went to the Hardings and she didn't have the cats to play with, she got so much worse?
She did. She
so
only
much
looked
worse.
happy in the movie when she was holding the cat.
Yeah.
That's not like me saying something.
No,
that's
she
a fucking
really-
fact in the movie.
That was like the only time she smiled for more than like 2 seconds.
Like she like recoiled when Hunter put his hand on her, but that cat, I know that feeling.
And that cat was like an actor. Cat was
playing for the audience. He was looking at him. He's like, you think Nosferatu is tempting you?
He's like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Wait,
nice.
Leonardo
DiCaprio. Oh, even better.
Double
We've stumbled upon something. But that's all I got. What do you got?
Actually, you guys both took a lot of the plugs. But yeah, no,
don't repeat them.
Oh, I just want to plug Adam Farley's music.
Fuck you!
Oh, and Crystal Lou's music. You can find them both wherever you listen to your podcast or
No, I'm
music
sorry.
or listen to your music. You can't say them again.
Yeah,
They're out.
I'll go with my brother's band, Kids on
Kids
Bikes.
on Bikes.
Fuck you! God. You guys said mostly every single thing
No,
except.
do it the way you were gonna do
No,
it.
don't.
No.
It's over.
You guys got it. There's no going back. Oh, I just got cast in a play.
Okay.
And so it will be going on the end of January at the Diva Theater in Scranton.
Oh, is that their 1X?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm in 2 of those. There's like 6 1-act plays, and I'm in 2 of them, and I'm excited. I'm really pumped.
Awesome.
So you can check that out, and then also Shantytown Design. You guys want to have like an internet presence, some kind of voice out there?
Who would we reach out to?
You should check out Shantytown Design. Mike Vinci, the
R.
Vinci.
Da Vinci.
The Da Vinci.
What kind of stuff can he do?
He could like build your whole website. He could do anything. He can make a logo for you. He can build a website, set up shop. He's got it. He's got
Do you
you.
have examples of his work?
You know what? I do. I have one example, and it's called frequelspodcast.com, where you can find us and our episodes and our merch and pictures of us and just actually like all really cool stuff. I think like at one point we should put up like random Frequels facts or FAQs, right? We should do that.
Yeah.
Go on Reddit and do like an AMA for prequels.
Yeah, like most appearances by this person, you know, or something.
Our most hated guest.
Our most hated guest.
That's me.
Most handsome guest.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No,
John.
they should
That'd
all
be
be like
John.
really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah,
He's the most
for
handsome.
sure. Most masturbatory
Anyway.
guest. So wait,
Have you
no-
seen his neck?
Oh, I have seen his
Have
neck.
I?
Only
You guys talk
parts
about
of
his
it.
calves, but his neck.
You actually, she had a locket on when she got here. So a
Yeah.
picture of him in there, and I'm like, let me see that neck.
Hold on, that is a lovely neck.
Yeah, I'm gonna
lovely
need that
neck.
back eventually.
Yeah, you'll get it in 10 minutes.
10 minutes. No, go to frequelspodcast.com. You can email us there if you have any questions or concerns, or especially concerns. No, if you have any questions,
If you needed life advice,
life advice, you
these
can,
guys will ignore you.
yeah,
We'll teach you how to end it.
Yeah. Don't ask us. But there's links to our Facebook, Instagram. There's links to
Kitties of an EPA pet rescue.
yes, and Shantytown Design and stuff. So you guys can check that out there. Also, like you can have like recommendations that you want to throw at us. Like if you're like, you know what, you guys haven't covered this movie. Can you guys talk about this movie? We'll do it.
Tell them you want more vampire films, and then I have an excuse to come back.
Yeah. She is our designated vampire expert. So we always have to have Elle on our vampire episodes. But anyways, with that being said, thank you to our wonderful guest, Elle Snow, for coming in. I know it was like kind of last minute, like Sunday. I asked you, and you're like, "Hell yeah, man, I'm down." Because I'm stupid and I don't think of things like until I'm like, "Oh, you know what? This would be good timing because of the new movie."
Yeah.
But
It was,
yeah.
you messaged me on Sunday, and I
Yeah.
had rehearsal Monday, Tuesday, and today, Wednesday. So I'm like, I gotta watch this film again, make my notes today, because it's the only way it's gonna happen. I'm like, yeah, let me do it. And I actually asked my director yesterday, he's like, is it cool if I leave early so I can go do something?
Yeah. Did you say I have to do a podcast?
Yes.
Yeah, and they were like, "Okay, yeah."
And
sure.
she's like, oh, we're not gonna be that late. And we were exactly that late.
Oh, no. I think at one point maybe we should get both you and Tommy on right before the show opens, so that way not only you could promote it, but you could also we'll do something fun.
I love that in theory.
Yeah.
But it's like the rehearsals get more frequent as we get closer to the show.
It's probably going to be insane.
So we're just going to edit this part of the show out.
Fuck that. Yeah. But no, thank you so much, Elle Snow, for coming to the show every single time. Me. Always killing it, crushing it with all your facts. Thank you so much. And thank you for the listeners at home. Thank you to you guys for tuning in every week, checking us out. We hope you love season 3. We have a lot of cool people and stuff coming up. And
we've got nothing.
We got nothing. We don't plan anything. But guys, thank you. And thank you for listening to
Mankista!
Mankista!
That's
one lovely Easter.